beginning so y'all know what we about to be talking about. Um, it's the Book of Jubilees, and I'm gonna let y'all listen to the intro.
From celestial beings. At the very beginning, the heavens and the earth were created by God. A single, straightforward sentence that sets the entire Bible into motion. But have you ever wondered if there might be more to this account? Could there be an ancient manuscript that supplies all the missing details that Genesis doesn't include? Right now, we're going to explore in depth the Book of Jubilees, that concealed origin narrative which reveals how heaven was structured, the moment angels came into being, and what universal happenings molded our reality before Adam ever drew his initial breath. Before we dive in, though, if content like this soothes your evening hours, please think about life.
All right, so we're gonna start with the Al-Fatiha first. That's in the Quran. And the Al-Fatiha is, in the name of Allah, the most compassionate, most merciful. All praises for Allah, Lord of all worlds, the most compassionate, most merciful. Master of the day of judgment. You alone we worship, and you alone we ask for help. Guide us along the straight path, the path of those you have blessed, not those you are displeased with, or those who are astray. And then, after we do that, we're going to do Psalms 91. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here. Come on in. We're discussing today in the Book of Jubilees. Psalms 91. Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. Surely He will save you from the fowler's snare and from the deadly pestilence. He will cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield and rapport. You will not fear the terror of the night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that stalks in the darkness, nor the plague that destroys at midday. 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. You will only observe with your eyes and see the punishment of the wicked. If you say the Lord is my refuge, and you make the Most High your dwelling, no harm will overtake you, no disaster will come near your tent. For He will command His angels concerning you, to guard you in all your ways. They will lift you up in their hands, so that you will not strike your foot against a stone. You will tread on the lion and the cobra. You will trample the great lion and the serpent. Because He loves me, says the Lord, I will rescue him. I will protect him, for he acknowledges my name. He will call on me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble, and I will deliver him and honor him with long life. I will satisfy him and show him my salvation. Amen. All right, so what I have been looking at has been the complete book of the Book of Jubilees. We're going to have to be mindful that interpretation is key, and whoever is reading it, writing it, discussing it, remember, look it up for yourself.
Christians were well acquainted with this book. Church leaders cited from it, argued about it, and occasionally cherished it. In Ethiopia, they never ceased viewing it as divinely inspired. There, they refer to it as the Little Genesis, a supplement to the initial book of Moses, completing particulars the Bible omitted. So, what's the reason most Bibles exclude it? The explanation brings us to the core of how sacred books get selected. As Judaism developed following the temple's destruction, religious teachers searched for manuscripts that could bring together their dispersed people. Jubilees, with its rigid solar calendar that contrasted with the lunar one most Jews observed, became divisive instead of unifying.
Because as they're gonna explain, when God gave the Book of Jubilees, it was 364 days, not 365. And that was going to throw everything off, including the celebrations and the things that we observe.
Appeared to allow insufficient space for rabbinical interpretation. For Christians constructing their emerging faith, Jubilees introduced different complications. Its elaborate laws could potentially confuse new believers who were instructed that Christ completed the old covenant. Its dramatic depiction.
Meanwhile, also in the process, you hear that it's saying that man decided, not paying attention to that this is what was given to Moses at the time. So they came in and they decided, hey, Miss Kelly, they came in and they decided that it may not work out based off of what they had already taught. Mind you, it was a whole meeting on a mountain about this.
action of angels performing God's work on earth appeared to allow less space for Christ's distinctive role. Gradually, in most locations, it shifted from scripture to intriguing ancient manuscript. But what distinguishes Jubilees so dramatically? First, there's its understanding of time itself. The book separates all history into exact units. Jubilee periods spanning 49 years, composed of 7 weeks of 7 years apiece. Every occurrence in history possesses its designated time, inscribed in heaven long before it transpires on earth. Then we have the heavenly...
Okay, so the funny part is, I'm 50 years old. There should have been a Jubilee period at some point in time, which I think the Catholic people observed a Jubilee 2023 or 2024. Not really sure. You have to look it up. Entertainment purposes only. Also, just to let y'all know, I'm about to share a PDF with y'all on the Book of Jubilees. So if you never read it for yourself, I'm going to share it wherever I can share it. So if you're on a, on YT, I'm going to put it in a post. And if you're on FB, I'm going to put it in a post. And everywhere else, y'all just have to find me on those platforms and, get it from the post. All right. And I will be stopping to interrupt because this could potentially give me a copyright. But guess what? I'm willing to take the risk based off of everybody listening, everybody knowing it, us discussing it. And also I have the PDF pulled up. So as they're talking and, going over it, I'm going to be saying what I'm going to be saying for things that are being given to me. So don't wonder why I keep stopping it. That's why.
Tablets, universal records maintained by angels, holding not only the past but the future as well. In Jubilees, nothing occurs by chance. Every birth, every death, every conflict and peace agreement happens in accordance with a divine schedule established at creation. Most remarkable is how Jubilees reimagines Genesis. It supplements conversations, inserts scenes, and clarifies motivations. When Adam and Eve experience their fall, Jubilees informs us which animals forfeited speech as punishment. When Cain murders Abel, Jubilees provides the names of their sisters who became their wives. The recognizable stories acquire fresh depth, fresh detail, and occasionally fresh interpretations. Angels assume a significantly larger role than in Genesis. They're present at creation. They instruct humans in skills and knowledge. They execute punishments, and they document all human actions. One angel, never identified, but frequently referred to as the angel of the presence, narrates the majority of the book, addressing Moses directly. And there's Mastema, a figure remarkably similar to Satan, but possessing official responsibilities in God's court. He tests humans, presents accusations. Mind you, be mindful that this is, again, somebody's interpretation, because when you see the actual Book of Jubilees that I'm posting, you're not going to hear none of this stuff, okay? So it's somebody that's narrating along with the actual story, okay? So be aware. Against them and commands spirits who create trouble. Yet he performs this with God's authorization, within rigid boundaries. Evil in Jubilees serves heaven's larger plan. The book introduces itself not as some fresh revelation, but as the most ancient truth, knowledge delivered to Moses together with the Torah, then forgotten for ages until recovered through this manuscript. It asserts to be more ancient and more genuine than Genesis itself. This audacious assertion helped it acquire followers, but ultimately caused most faith leaders to maintain it at a distance. Yet reading Jubilees provides a window into how certain ancient people comprehended their world, a universe of flawless order, where even the stars and planets travel paths established by God, where... And also be mindful, as I keep trying to tell y'all, an angel is your biggest eye. So there's so many different angels and different types, and they're going to explain it. But keep in mind, the thing that we fighting or going up against that's been trying to insert evil wickedness was an angel as well. Human freedom exists, but inside a grand design already finished in heaven. A world where time itself possesses meaning, structure, and divine intention. Moses on Mount Sinai, once more. The book of Jubilees commences not with creation, but with Moses ascending Mount Sinai to receive God's law. You might believe you know this account from Exodus, but Jubilees reveals to us something fresh occurred on that mountain. While Moses remained in the cloud-shrouded peaks, the angel of the presence approached him with an assignment: to record what no human had previously heard. Pay attention to everything I shall reveal to you on this mountain, the angel declares to Moses, and inscribe it in a book, so that your descendants might understand I have not forsaken them. What emerges is not merely the law, but a recounting of all history, from creation until that precise moment on the mountain. The angel clarifies that he is reading from the heavenly tablets, God's universal records, where all occurrences past and future are inscribed. Through this angel, Moses discovers the authentic structure of time itself. Not the disorganized lunar months that wander through the seasons, but God's flawless calendar of exactly 364 days. This divine calendar divides the year into 4 seasons of 91 days each, exactly 13 weeks per season. Every year contains 52 complete weeks. Days perpetually land on the identical date every year. Festivals never shift or relocate. It is flawless, unchanging, and according to Jubilees, the sole calendar God acknowledges for marking holy days. Observe the days and the months and the seasons, the angel instructs Moses. If they alter this order, they...
Mind you, just remember to listen that it says God was talking to Moses on Mount Sinai. That should have been enough everybody needed to be able to take it and go with it, but they decided to do whatever they wanted to do. And the PDF is now posted on FB. I can't, for some reason, YT is doing something weird, but I'm trying to post it there too.
Will disturb their seasons, and the years will be displaced, and they will observe neither the festivals nor the Sabbaths in their appropriate time. Here we encounter one of Jubilee's most remarkable assertions, that employing the incorrect calendar is not merely a minor mistake, but a universal sin that disrupts divine order. Those who observe lunar months or other human calendars sever their connection with heaven's timing. Their prayers and festivals carry no meaning, for they occur on the...
Sever your connection. Carry no weight. Have you cut off because of you listening to somebody or something else instead of what was given. So even now, I literally just seen people doing all types of stuff. I done seen, because it's a battle going on right now, in case anybody didn't know. And even within religious groups, they arguing amongst themselves. So the Christians, who are the Christians that are, you know, whatever the name is, this group, because apparently there's groups inside of groups. What is happening with this? They're beefing because this person ain't doing what they supposed to do in a way that observes, you know, whatever they got going on. The people who celebrate this, you know, the Jewish people is beefing with the Christian people. I done reshared a couple different things so y'all can see how these people saying everybody, and I'm not talking about, you know, any particular religious anything. Everybody saying that they love God, but meanwhile they're arguing over who's doing it right and not the fact that they should be acting the way that God instructed for you to act. People out here creating doctrines, hate this person, do this, do that. Like, meanwhile, everybody out of covenant.
Incorrect days. This may appear peculiar to modern sensibilities, but for the writer of Jubilees, time itself represented a battlefield. Jewish communities following the Babylonian exile encountered pressure to embrace foreign methods of marking time. The author probably perceived this as a danger to their very identity as God's people. By asserting a divine origin for their soul...
Mind you, that said enough right there. Jewish means Jew-like. It's like blackish. Kind of black. Whitish. Kind of white.
the calendar, they resisted against these pressures. The angel clarifies to Moses that time itself commenced with creation, organized in Jubilee cycles, 49-year periods composed of 7 sabbatical cycles. Each occurrence in history falls inside this meticulous structure. Events are comparable to notes in a magnificent song composed by God before the world commenced. But there's more transpiring on that mountain than merely a history lesson.
And this is his
The angel
narration, just so
discloses
you
to
know.
Moses that heaven and earth are secured in a universal struggle. Forces of light and darkness fight for human souls. Angels of heaven maintain watch over the righteous, while Mastema and his spirits entice humans to deviate from God's flawless order. Record all these words which I proclaim to you today, the angel instructs Moses. For I know their rebellion and their stubbornness. The angel perceives ahead to times when people will forget the authentic calendar, will intermingle with foreign nations, will violate God's laws. This book is intended as a solution, a path back to heaven's flawless order. So Moses remains on the mountain for 40 days and nights, recording everything the angel communicates, the authentic story of the world, the genuine laws of God, the flawless timing of all things. And when he comes down, he transports not merely the stone tablets, but this book as well, Jubilees, the record of time itself. In this universal vision, human freedom continues to exist, but inside boundaries established long ago. We select our paths, but the form of history follows patterns inscribed in heaven before the initial day appeared. Time is not merely passing moments, but a sacred structure, and existing in harmony with it means observing God's authentic calendar disclosed again through Moses on the mountain. Creation reimagined. At the very beginning, God...
Raymond, welcome. Thank you for being here. I just want to also point out, I did just put it, it's in the chat, so y'all should be able to see it there too. So if you want to follow along and, If you want to be able to follow along, I did put it in the chat, and you can pull up the actual PDF, and then you should be able to see when he's talking and when he's narrating something. Also be mindful that I have seen and witnessed, so don't know if this is, the best one, because that's why I'm giving y'all the PDF version. I have actually listened to people narrate these stories themselves, right? And then they added themselves into it. And this is where a lot of the issues keep coming in at, because they don't stay strictly to what was written. They start inserting themselves and adding extra stuff. And then the word is tainted. So let me see if I can go put it in the post as well, because I was having an issue because something happened where I apparently got logged out of everything. Mind you, I ain't try to log out of nothing, so I got logged out of all the places that I told you I was going to put some stuff at, and so I had to actually log into everything, and that's what created the me having to stop in the midst of. So now the posts are there, and if you want to pull up the PDF, you actually can. And I'll tell you what part they are actually
God
at.
created the heavens and the earth. So commences Genesis, with God alone producing light from darkness. But Jubilees presents us a different scene. A universe already occupied with angels observing as God fashions the world. This isn't a silent, empty void. Heaven's courts are abundant with witnesses to earth's birth. The angel informs Moses. On the initial day, God created the heavens above, and the earth and the waters, and all the spirits who serve in his presence. The angels of the presence, the angels of holiness, the angels of the spirits of fire, the angels of the spirits of wind, the angels of the spirits of the clouds of darkness, of snow, of hail, of frost, the angels of sound and thunder and lightning, the angels of the spirits of cold and heat. Creation develops over 6 days, as Genesis recounts to us, but with angels documenting each divine act, recording it in heaven's books. God isn't merely constructing a world. He's founding a universal order with numerous layers, positioning angels over each element of nature, establishing a heavenly administration to sustain his creation. On day 1, God creates not merely light, but the angels themselves, arranged in rigid ranks and roles. Some stand in front of God's throne singing praises, others function as messengers. Still, others supervise natural forces.
All right. I'm trying to figure out where they are actually at on here. Because I don't know if it, and let thy mercy, O Lord, be lifted up thy people and create them an upright spirit. Anyway, so if you go, it'll tell you about the book of Jubilees. It says Moses received the tables of the law and instruction on the past and future history, which he has also inscribed in a book 1 through 4. Apostasy of Israel 5 through 9. Captivity of Israel and Judah 10 through 11, return of Judah and rebuilding the temple 15 through 18, Moses' prayer for Israel 19 and 21, God's promise to redeem and dwell with them 22 through 5, 28, Moses bidden to write down future history for the world, the book of Jubilees 26, and the angel to write down the law 27. This angel takes the heavenly chronological tablets to dictate therefrom to Moses 29. This is the history of the division of the days of the law and of testament, of the events of the years of their year, weeks of their jubilees throughout all the years of the world. As the Lord spake to Moses on Mount Sinai when he went up to receive the tables of the law and of the commandment according to the voice of God, and he had said unto him, Go up to Mount Sinai. So then it starts off with chapter 1, and it says, And it comes to pass in the first year of the exodus of the children of Israel out of Egypt, in the third month, on the 16th day of the month 2450, Anno Mundi, that God spoke to Moses, saying, Come up to me on the mount. I will give thee 2 tables of, and it says tables, T-A-B-L-E-S, of stone. I know people be saying tablets, but it says tables here. 2 tables of stone of the law and the commandment which I have written, and thou mayest teach them. And Moses went up unto the mount of God, and the glory of the Lord abode on Mount Sinai, and a cloud overshadowed it 6 days. And he called to Moses on the 7th day out of the midst of the cloud, and the appearance of the glory of the Lord was like a flaming fire on top of the mountain. And Moses was on the mount 40 days and 40 nights, and God taught him the earlier and the later history of the vision of all the days of the law and the testimony. And he said, Incline thy heart to every word which I shall speak unto thee on this mount, and write them in a book in order, in their generations may see how I have not forsaken them, for all the evil which they have wrought in transgressing the covenant which I established between me and thee for the generations this day on Mount Sinai. And thus it will come to pass, when all these things come upon them, that they will recognize that I am more righteous than they in all their judgments and in their actions. And they will recognize that I have been truly with them. And do thou write for thyself all these words which I declare unto thee for this day. For I know their rebellion and their stiff neck, before I bring them into the land of which I swear to their fathers, to Abraham and to Isaac and to Jacob, saying, Unto your seed will I give thee the land flowing with milk and honey. Which, for some reason, in that text right there, gives me the fact that they ain't got there yet. Even though they think that, it is here. It is because of the corruption and everything that has gone on with the people moving, dates, times, people putting themselves in this particular somebody else's seat. Somebody wants to make, them better than somebody else. Other people holding other people back. Mind you, it also was talking about the levels. When I told y'all last night about The Devil's Dinner, the book the show that was on Netflix, and it talked about the different levels of the sins, where it was the human realm, or the different realms, the human realm, the spirit realm, the this realm, the that realm. I was listening to something else, and it could potentially be here because but it was talking about how even from the beginning, the different realms where the angels exist, and then where the people exist, and there are some angels that were just like in everything, good, bad, and ugly, like the ones that were the fallen angels that got sent down, and they have been trying to corrupt humankind this whole entire time. So they're the ones that's been trying to throw a lot of the things off. Then also the people want to do what they want to do, but then there's angels that are designated to help humankind try to get things back on track. So as above, so below. Mind you, as above, so below, one of the things that they talked about, and it kind of set my body on light mode because it rang true to me. What's happening here is a product of what's happening up there. So wars, everything is also the battle that's happening between us, us here, but whatever they're doing up there. And that could be why people been saying they've been hearing, strange sounds coming from, up there, because literally it's saying that this realm activates this realm. And you have to remember that spiritually we are here in the 3D, but there are spiritual beings and things that are assigned to us right now. So actively, as we are going through life, and we're assigned to spiritual entities, beings, and things of this nature, because it's angels basically. The fact that there's animals, because I actually posted it, there's animals that are afraid right now. Like, there's a girl that's paying attention to what the animals are doing, and a guy said he went to the Dallas Zoo, the animals were not moving. Mind you, you can see that at the beginning of the video, because I watched it myself. The beginning of the video, you can see the giraffe turn his head, but mind you, they're all stuck in there still. Then I've seen she said something about one of the, at the end you see another animal like doing something, but they're not moving. So then there was another video that I saw where it looks like the animals are being real strange. Mind you, same scenario. Animals and children are easily able to pick up energy. And so again, be mindful, and I hope I explained that right. Whatever's happening right now is also happening in the spirit realm. Whatever has been assigned, whatever you're going through, there's an angel, a being that has been attached to you, and they're doing what is happening here. So if the animals are being held hostage, like stuck, I don't mean hostage, but if the animals are being stuck, know that it's showing you something. There's something that she said, vibrational, as above, so below. Yes. So just know that they're showing us example of what's taking place. And if you're not, that sensitive to energy, or that is a way for you to be able to see externally, if you can't feel it or if you can't discern it, the animals are showing you. So just know that whatever we're dealing with spiritually is happening as well. So do with that information what you will. And do write down for thyself all these words which I declare unto thee this day. For I know their rebellion and their stiff neck, because hard-headedness, and people going to do what they want to do. Mind you, or people are failing to realize, like, certain, the Garden of Eden, when they talk about it, if we go back, because this is the first time I actually heard it and actually understood it that way, the way they described the Garden of Eden is it was the first temple. This is the reason why certain things were being done the way that it was being done. This is the reason why that when they got kicked out immediately for doing something that they weren't supposed to do. But it's the same as when we talked about Aaron and his sons, the sons dying. But mind you, they had been called the priesthood because Aaron's line were priests. But when they did something that was out of the covenant, because as this is talking about, and this is why I'm saying at the time, everything was strict, because everything had to be done according to divine timing. You're not allowed to insert yourself or exalt yourself above God. And this is where some of the issues that we're facing even to this day is happening.
Wind, rain, seasons, and stars. When the waters separate on day 2, angels are designated to oversee them. When land emerges on day 3, additional angels assume their positions. For every aspect of creation, heaven supplies supervisors, guardians, and record keepers. Nothing transpires by accident or without supervision. On the 4th day, when God fashions the sun, moon, and stars, Jubilees adds something essential: the establishment of God's flawless calendar. The sun's journey through the sky marks not merely days, but a divine timetable exactly 364 days long. This calendar becomes fundamental to the book's message, a heavenly clock that humans must observe. He fashioned the sun, a magnificent sign above the earth, for days, Sabbaths, months, feast years, jubilees, and for all seasons, the angel clarifies.
Okay, so still trying to find out and locate where that is, but and they will eat and be satisfied, and they will turn to strange gods, to gods which cannot deliver them from aught of their tribulations. And this witness shall be heard for a witness against them, for they will forget all my commandments, even all that I have commanded them, and they will walk after the Gentiles, and after their uncleanness, and after their shame, and will serve their gods, and these will prove unto them an offense, and a tribulation, and an affliction, and a snare. Whereas people, we have, and I keep saying it, God was God before the books came along, and there could be some things, there's even, a little bit of truth even in a lie, because we notice that this text says this text says this text says this, so we can almost guarantee that, that this story happened, or whatever, whatever we can grasp from there, because if we notice patterns. But when it starts to change is when we can kind of say like, maybe we should kind of, not do that. But also, it is the God in you. And this is where, y'all, last night, I don't know what was happening, but the strangest thing. Would you feed yourself? Would you partake of the knowledge and the word that you have been given? Do you find yourself acceptable in God? Would you present yourself and all the things you do right now to God, but also knowing that being created in the image of? So, and many will perish, and they will be taken captive, and will fall into the hands of the enemy, because they have forsaken my ordinances and my commandments. They couldn't touch you if you were still in covenant. But the reason why it even is saying that is because you gave up. You were out of covenant. So this is how they were able to put their hands, or this is how they were able to even insert themselves or get involved in anything pertaining to the people. My ordinance and my commandments, and the festivals of my covenant, and my Sabbaths, and my holy place, which I have hallowed for thyself in the midst, and my tabernacles and my sanctuary, which I have hollowed out for myself in the midst of the land, and I shall set my name upon it, and that it shall dwell, and that it should dwell there. So then the tabernacle, the Garden of Eden being the first place, but then as they started building the other temples, they got torn down, because they started doing stuff in the temples that they were not supposed to. Mind you, you can find that in the Bible as well, when Jesus came through turning up and tearing up some stuff, flipping tables and whatnot. Mind you, this is Jesus' way of showing y'all. So the people that believe in, the story and all that, that was Jesus' way of showing y'all. And again, I'm not debating nobody's religion or whatever, but it tells you in whatever story that you're listening to, because again, even if they start to run off on their own, like in the Bible doing something, in the Catholic Bible saying something different, and then the Ethiopian Bible saying something different, and then the Torah saying something, it shows you that where some of the covenants, where it started to be tainted at. And it seems to be the same, even throughout everybody inserting themselves. And so that you can almost see like, okay, we could possibly take that as being the truth, because it happened in all accounts. Then it says, my holy place, when I have hollowed out for myself in the midst of the land, I shall set my name upon it, and that it should dwell, and that they should dwell there. All right, so something just happened. I'm gonna show y'all this, because let me look this up, and because something just showed itself to me, so I'm gonna do this.
Every unit of time possesses meaning in God's plan. To disregard this calendar is to step outside divine order itself. Animals emerge on days 5 and 6, just as Genesis recounts to us. But Jubilees adds that 22 types of creatures were fashioned, a number that corresponds with the letters in the Hebrew alphabet, implying that creation itself is organized like sacred language. Then arrives humanity. Adam fashioned from earth, given life by God's breath. But Jubilees presents us the angel's reaction. Some celebrate at this fresh being, while others develop concerned. These worries foreshadow troubles to arrive, as some angels will ultimately resent humans and pursue their downfall. Eve's creation arrives with fresh details as well. The angel informs Moses she wasn't fashioned on the sixth day with Adam, but afterward, after Adam had been transported into Eden. This timing difference might appear minor, but it influences how Jubilees perceives gender roles and human relationships. When God rests on the seventh day, Jubilees emphasizes this wasn't merely a pause, but the creation of something fresh, the Sabbath itself, the crown of the week. The angel informs Moses that only two groups were permitted to honor this day: the angels in heaven and the Israelites on earth. All other nations were refused this privilege. In this retelling, Adam and Eve aren't quite the independent beings we recognize from Genesis. They're more comparable to actors in a universal drama observed by angels. Their choices documented in heaven's books, their future already inscribed in tablets above. They possess free will, but they exercise it inside boundaries established before they drew their initial breath. God positions the first humans in Eden not merely to tend a garden, but to burn incense and present offerings, transforming Eden not merely into a paradise, but the first temple. From their very first day, humans were intended to worship, to acknowledge the Creator and the order He founded in those initial 6 days. By the time Jubilees completes its creation story, we perceive a world more intricate than Genesis presents us. A universe layered with angels, governed by exact timing, moving in accordance with patterns established at the beginning. Humans stand at the center of this magnificent design, precious to God, but also small inside a vast heavenly system that observes, records, and occasionally intervenes in earthly matters. The fall as told by the angels. When we arrive at the story of temptation in Eden, Jubilees transports us deeper than Genesis does. The recognizable serpent emerges, but behind this creature stands a darker power. Mastema, Prince of Spirits, Heaven's prosecutor. The angel clarifies to Moses that the serpent was merely a tool employed by spiritual forces that resented Adam and Eve's position in creation. The serpent approached and drew near to the woman. The angel informs Moses, and the serpent declared to the woman, "Has God genuinely said, 'You shall not eat from any tree in the garden'?" But unlike Genesis, Jubilees presents us this wasn't merely curiosity or mischief. It was part of a universal trial. Would humans remain faithful to heaven's order? Eve's response travels the recognizable path, taking the fruit, consuming it, sharing with Adam. But Jubilees perceives this as more than disobedience, it's contamination. By taking what wasn't provided, the first humans shattered the boundaries between holy and common things. Their nakedness suddenly visible to them isn't merely shame, it's the loss of glory. On that day, their mouths were opened, and they commenced to speak, the angel declares, and they perceived that they were naked. This fresh awareness arrives as a fall from innocence, but also as a kind of dark awakening. They now comprehend both good and evil. But this knowledge produces pain instead of wisdom. God's arrival in the garden arrives with thunder and earthquake in Jubilees' recounting. Divine judgment isn't quiet, but terrifying. The whole garden trembles as God announces his verdict, first on the serpent, then on Eve, then on Adam. Each receives punishment suited to their role in this universal breach. What transpires next differs subtly from Genesis. God doesn't fashion garments of animal skins for the fallen humans. Instead, the angel informs Moses, "The Lord God fashioned for Adam and his wife garments of skin and clothed them." Some ancient readers comprehended this to signify Adam and Eve initially wore garments of light, spiritual bodies, now replaced with mortal flesh that would one day perish. Their expulsion from Eden follows, but Jubilees adds a timeline absent from Genesis. In the first week of the first Jubilee, Adam and his wife were in the Garden of Eden for 7 years, tilling and keeping it. So the first humans spent exactly 7 years in paradise, 1 week of years before their fall. As they depart Eden, Jubilees informs us Adam transported 2 things: incense from the garden so he could still present proper worship outside paradise, and seeds of garden plants to cultivate food in his exile.
And that goes to the incense that was created is the ones that were used and the for God, only for God. And they had a certain ingredient, and it was only supposed to be, it wasn't supposed to be used for people outside of that. It was only supposed to be used when they were doing ceremonies and things of that nature. So what I was looking at was, as I was doing this and I was reading this, and then all of a sudden something came across the phone. It was the time, mind you, it started glowing, like, pay attention. But then it was good doing, it said the angel number 848 is a powerful divine symbol associated with sacred scribes. Mind you, we're listening to text, because what I was doing at the time was being mindful, what are we doing? So that's why I was typing that, just to make sure that I knew, because I was leaving a note for myself. But anyway, sacred scribes and spiritual communication. The number signals divine guidance, spiritual insights, and manifestation opportunities rooted in biblical and mystical meanings. Recognizing its significance can help you align with divine purpose and unlock spiritual messages that influence your path and manifestations. Whether you see this number in your dreams, daily life, or through angelic messages, understand the sacred symbolism and biblical context and is essential for harnessing its energy. The weird part and the funny part about this was, when it's saying the number signals divine guidance, spiritual insight. The part that I was actually reading to y'all was, where we at? Where's that? Book of Jubilees right here. About the actual timing. And many will perish and be taken captive and will fall into the hands of the enemy, because they have forsaken my ordinances and commandments, and the festivals of my covenant, and my Sabbaths, and my holy place, which I have hallowed for myself in their midst, my tabernacles and my sanctuary, which I have hallowed for myself in the midst of the land, which that I shall set my name upon it, and that it should dwell in there. And then that's when I saw it. So basically giving the confirmation to me, like, the time is definitely important, because that's mostly what this was actually even discussing. The days, because today being, whatever they're saying, and then people celebrating things that they should maybe not be celebrating, or things being introduced into the system to keep everybody out of divine alignment, because divine alignment is the alignment that you wish to be in order for you to be able to complete the assignments and things of that nature. And so it says, and they will make to themselves high places and groves and graven images, and they will worship each his own graven image, so as to go astray. And they will sacrifice their children to demons and to all the works of the error of their hearts. Meanwhile, we've been dealing with stuff, into this society. It's 2026. This was written many, many years ago, so long ago. Mind you, we living in these times actually right now. And I will send witnesses unto them, that I may witness against them, but they will not hear, and will slay the witnesses also. And they will persecute those who seek the law, and they will abrogate and change everything, so as to work evil before my eyes. Everything that's happening, like I said, if God showed up right now, these are all the same people that say we are, we're worshiping God with the Bibles and with the texts and the books and this, that, and the third, and not just the Bible, it's everybody. They will say that they love God, but mind you, if God showed up right now, they would kill it. Anything that represents itself, even in the midst of people could ask for something, they will kill the spirit. They will kill the energy. They will kill it. So it's the weirdest thing in this system, that the very thing that you sit and you are searching for, you're really not looking for that. And it says it even right here, mind you, written way before you even attempted. So what are you? Because another thing that I was listening to, and that's what it was saying, like, each individual, good people, being set apart. And I forgot how I explained it, but when I heard it, it just clicked, because it's like the angels that come, that are on the right path, the path that are helping the people, they will protect the people who are, on the right path or doing the right things. The angels that are, the fallen ones, the ones that they were talking about that are here to corrupt, because again, your biggest op is an angel or was an angel. It's trying to get you to do all the wrong things, because for them it helps, its cause. Meanwhile, you have to determine what type of individual, what type of person you're going to be along your pathway, along your journey for you. And I will hide my face from them, and I will deliver them into the hands of the Gentiles for captivity and for prey and for devouring. And I will remove them from the midst of the land, and I will scatter them amongst the Gentiles. Why? Because you're out of covenant. The very thing that God being God, before any of these books, any of these texts, any of these things being given unto you, and then this is what the people do. Mind you, we've been warned ahead of time. Everything's still coming to fruition even right now. Like, you can see this old stuff playing out right here, right now, at this moment in time. And I don't know why people still sit in there, way to, oh, I don't believe this, I don't believe that. But meanwhile, it's showing you right in your face that this is actually happening. And after this, they will turn from me from amongst the Gentiles with all their heart and with all their soul and with all their strength. And I will gather them from amongst all the Gentiles, and they will seek me, so I shall be found of them when they seek me with all their heart and with all their soul. So God ain't hiding from y'all. God ain't hiding from nobody. When you seek, it's going to present itself. God will present itself. You have to look for it. And you're going to have to look for it in here. Because what type of individual are you? Because it's not found in those people. You see what they doing. Even the things that they wrote was to benefit them, was to keep you off track, was to keep you off time, keep you out of divine timing and divine alignment. And again, I ain't saying nothing about nobody. It's saying it right here. And I will disclose to them, and when they seek me with all their heart and with all their soul, and I will disclose to them abounding peace and righteousness, and I will remove them from the plant. I will remove them the plant of uprightness with all my heart, with all my soul, and they shall be for a blessing and not for a curse. You have to get in alignment, get in covenant, divine alignment, and in covenant. Your covenant is your contract. And you will be set for a blessing and not a curse. And they shall be the head and not the tail. And I will build my sanctuary in their midst. Mind you, this is the thing. Yesterday I read, or the day before, I was reading to y'all where everybody's out of covenant because even the Jews can't perform any of the ceremonial sacrifice or any of that. They can't do it either because there isn't a temple. But where's your temple? Inside of you. So even though there's not a place, a location, there is a place. It's already been set inside of you. That is your temple. Mind you, which led into, be careful what you put into your temple. Because you're not supposed to do this, that, or the third. And that's for you and, God to talk to you about. So your temple, because there is not one, but there is. And this is basically based off of even now, because when you get in covenant, you get in alignment, guess what? Stuff starts to show itself, present itself. And so this is where we have to, kind of figure out what message is God giving to you? Not what message God is giving to somebody else and you having to follow what they're saying, because God is talking directly to you. And I will disclose to them abounding peace with righteousness, and I will remove the plant of uprightness with all my heart, with all my soul, and they shall be for a blessing and not a curse, and they shall be the head and not the tail. And I will build my sanctuary in their midst, and I will dwell with them, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people in truth and righteousness. And I will not forsake them, nor fail them, for I am the Lord their God. Mind you, even that part, all the things that we're going through right now, right? And I don't know when I was listening to this, because this was a couple weeks ago, but it's been in my heart, in my mind, because God said, fight them. Fight them. And even when you do, because this is against the people who've been doing the other thing, you are not fighting them. God will fight them for you. God will be fighting them. But all you have to do is be in covenant and say it. Like, they didn't lose any wars when they did it with God. They only lost the wars and the fights when they did something out of covenant. And people have been told not to do certain things to certain people. So just know that you could be as scared as you want to, because even some of the things that I read, they were afraid. But mind you, they didn't have to be, because they had God. And God led them, and they were triumphant because they did the right things. They were in covenant. They observed the times. Even when they didn't know, they still saw it. So the fact that if you are looking and you're being diligent, that's all that's needed, because God will help you, and you don't have to be led astray by what the people are trying to tell you. So do with that information what you will. And I will build my sanctuary in their midst, and I will dwell with them, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people in truth and righteousness. And I will not forsake them nor fail them, for I am the Lord their God. And Moses fell on his face, prayed, and said, O Lord, my God, do not forsake thy people and thy inheritance, so they should wander in error of their hearts, and do not deliver them into the hands of their enemies, the Gentiles, lest they should rule over them and cause them to sin against thee. Let thy mercy, O Lord, be lifted up upon thy people, and create in them an upright spirit, and not let the spirit of Belair rule over them, to accuse them therefore thee, and to ensnare them from all paths of righteousness, so that they may perish from before thy face. So even right now and today, whatever is happening today, are you in covenant? Because I ain't saying nothing about nobody. Y'all just figure it out. But they are thy people and thy inheritance, which thou hast delivered, and thy great power from the hands of Egyptians. Create in them a clean heart and a holy spirit, and let not them be ensnared in their sins from hence until their entity. Like literally, and for some reason, I don't have to say this to nobody, but this morning, my son ended up calling me, and I apologize for teaching him Easter. Because, I taught what was taught. And until you know, or until you are, given something different. And so, the other ones as well, when I talk to them, same exact thing. Because once you already know that certain things are out of covenant, out of the law, I don't want to be held accountable for teaching people stuff that I was taught, and that the fact that I didn't go look, and then when I did look, I saw where it got corrupted, and I still practiced, and I still did, even though we don't know everything. And I'm just, hoping that, or praying that in the midst of everything that's happening today, that this time we get it right. And the Lord said unto Moses, I know your contrariness and their thoughts and their stiff-neckedness, and they will not be obedient till they confess their own sin and in the sin of their fathers. Like, I did that, so I'm apologizing. Because that's what happened. You just continue to be in covenant with, whatever your parents teach you, or conditioned by whatever you grow up and learn, not realizing that certain things. And even when you do grow up and you don't know, because like I said, reading and all that, knowing where certain things came from, knew it, still did it. It's people right now that are even today practicing Passover and Easter together at the same time. How, Sway? I ain't judging, but I did definitely see it. And they're saying they are doing the Passover meals and this, that, and the third. And I don't know nothing about it, just so y'all know. But I did go and read it. And I even saw the rules and regulations that go along with it. But people turned it into Thanksgiving, and that wasn't it. So mind you, people will know the laws, know the covenant, and still do their own thing. And that's out of covenant. It was very strict rules to it. This is the reason why it was said. This is the reason why it was given. Even right down to the date and the time. 364 days. Now, who's actually going to change that, and then who's going to put us back in alignment? But I remember at one point in time that the days were kind of falling, like, you know, this holiday, even the way they had us practicing them, they was falling on those days. Hey, strong spiritual high, thank you for being here. And after this they will turn to me in all uprightness and with all their heart and with all their soul, and I will circumcise the foreskin of their hearts. It didn't say your meat, it said hearts. And for skin of the heart of their seed, and I will create in them a holy spirit, and I will cleanse them, so that they shall not turn away from me in the day into eternity, into that day of eternity. So then it reminded me of, because the heart being a thing, right? God is love. And one of the things that and this is just something that I've seen, and it was talking about how the sins of the heart, or people, the purification of the heart. Sometimes we don't even realize that there is anger there, or there's animosity there, or there's jealousy there, or there is something that is not of God. Meaning, like, you just going throughout your day, or you just going throughout your life, and something affects you to the tune of you don't realize it then left a mark or an extra space or something, and then God working with you on it, and you realizing, like, and accepting accountability is a thing. Even though we were taught these things, or even though this was part of the system and it was okay, or it was cool, it definitely wasn't cool by the standards after you learn, after you grow. It's basically saying, like, I release that. I'm going to release that part of me that is not like God. I have to be on my own journey. So listen, it's funny how certain ways, certain things will teach you. If you are the actual vessel, the body, right? If you being the container for something that you were going to give God, and like, I'm the thing, and they were to pour water into me, because, you know, we're made of water. So if they're to pour water into me, and then I'm to be the thing, and I'm to go pour me into a cup and feed it to God, would God be okay with that? Like, and right now I can say, you know, I don't do a whole lot of things, but also I still do a whole lot of things. It could just be the thoughts. It could be the actions. It could be, you know, what I feed myself. Because, you know, me not thinking certain foods are harmless. Meanwhile, I had to apologize for something, because after I even realized that I just ate this, right? And mind you, it's not one of the permissible foods or things of that nature, or the thing to be eating at this point in time. So now I'm talking to God about, you know what, I did that. Literally, this is something that I like. So when I ordered my food, I ordered it this way. Now I have to be even mindful of, don't eat that. And even when you go look at, you know, different things, like, we were given, this is what you were given to eat. And so, of course, we turn it into something amazing. But now, even, what are you giving yourself? What are you feeding yourself? I told you I stopped drinking soda. So that was one of the things on the list. Knowing that things are not, you know, and soda ain't on the list, but it could be on the list. You see what I'm saying? Because soda wasn't developed at that time, I guess, maybe. I don't know. But knowing that this is the stuff that they are putting in the food, and me just being mindful that everything has to be clean, everything has to be purified. And we may or may not get it right, but I'm gonna try to get it as close to right as I possibly can, because I can use it in a whole nother different tone, you know, sexually, but I ain't gonna do that since we talking about this. But if you wouldn't eat you, would you want anybody else eating it? Mind you, another thing, and, you know, in this moment in time. I'm gonna just say this because I saved this to be able to give to y'all at another time, but this is also presenting itself as well. Let me see if I can find this right here. Where's this lady?
I think as a modern woman, a lot more things will start making sense in regards to men when you start thinking of sperm as a parasite. Now, sperm is the cell that fertilizes the egg that leads to procreation and continues the human species. And this is why the hosts of this parasite, so to speak, are always thinking, as we say, with their private part. They understand that the continuation of what they
And I'm gonna just say this because this is another thing of what you're feeding yourself, what you ingest, what you allow into you. So, that's a portal, that's a, thing, but I don't think she's off and far off because it makes freaking sense.
is reliant upon them fertilizing an egg and spreading what they have into the life of a woman. So when you're a holder of this, you have a different brain, you have a survival mind, because one thing about a parasite is it needs hosts to live off of, and the better it can spread to others, the more impactful it is as a parasite. And even if you look at sperm under a microscope, it moves like you see the worms do that we pull out of different meats. It is an organism that seeks survival and literally swims towards what it thinks will ensure that survival. And another key thing about a parasite is it lives on you and drains you in order to continue living and spreading. Once sperm gets to what it's meant to fertilize, your life doesn't necessarily become easier because you're pregnant, and your life doesn't become easier when you have children. If that's not something you want to do, you are going to have a parasitic relationship with what it is you're pursuing, which may be parenthood, because you're not even in a headspace.
And remember, I said what happens here also happens spiritually. So remember that force, that essence now creates spiritual ties and things of that nature. So now you dealing with something that you're connected to this person or this being, and now you're dealing with stuff that you don't even know that is connected to them. And now you created a seed, and now your child is dealing with whatever you were dealing with, whatever they were dealing with. And it's a thing.
To see the symbiotic relationship that can be built through parenting, which is learning from your child as much as your child learns from you. And many people do grow up to be parasitic in nature in their own family unit because they have now acted as a host to something that was already parasitic to them and their lifestyle. Not only that, even the way sperm operates in the body, where it is input is not where it stays. In fact, there have been studies and research of autopsies done on women where the sperm of men were living in their bodies, sometimes behind their eyes, near their brain, and in other parts of their bodies it could swim to. It acts like a parasite in nature. It can act as a parasite does, drain your energy, drain your life force, and live off of you, especially if it finds you at a time where your lifestyle is not fit for the impacts of coming in contact with this parasite, so to speak. As stated before, natural hosts of this parasite, men, are often survival brained. As soon as they infect you, many of them are out. The parasite has done its job through its host. It's spread its seed essentially and has now taken root in another body that will lead to the creation that could lead to another person down the line that could host what could be a parasite to women that aren't ready to take on what comes with that entering your body. A lot of the behaviors of men begin making sense when you just look at it on this level. Man doesn't have to be good to your life. In fact, he could be a detriment to you, but that won't stop him from having raw sex with you. And that won't stop the impacts of having raw sex with somebody from draining you and depleting you, especially if this is not something you intended. The niceties you're shown, the way somebody wants to sleep with you. If they are thinking with their private part, they are therefore thinking on behalf of what they host, the parasite that is directing their actions, something that is very common amongst parasites within the body. When we try to get rid of these things, we have to use spermicide, something that literally will kill off the nature of this organism from ceasing its intended purpose of swimming towards survival. Once you start viewing interactions between men and women, sensuality, and begin putting it in conversation with the habits of parasitic beings, you'll see exactly what makes me say I think as a modern woman, a lot.
And the funny part is this: even in covenant, like with the priests, they weren't supposed to connect themselves with certain, women, certain beings, certain entities, right? Even when the children of Israel were not supposed to, part of their covenant was not to be with these types of people, this certain group. And I don't mean to say it like that, but literally, because we don't know the consequences or the extent of everything that is even behind, that encounter. Mind you, even here, I think when this is where I seen it at, when it talks about, let's see if they say it, because when Adam and Eve, knew each other, it said it was a violation. Mind you, they were married. So there's something that is even more, spiritual behind even that takes us out of covenant. Let me see if I can find this. Fourth day. Then it says, and he gave sign Sabbath day. There will 12 heads of mankind declared to say the children of Israel law unto this day they should keep in created all things blessed it. And the sixth day, all right, so sixth day we're there, y'all. I'm gonna just jump ahead a little bit because then that way y'all can also see that even here it says something about intercourse. Alan, hi, welcome, thank you for being here. And the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die, and God doth know that on the day ye shall eat thereof, your eyes will be open, and ye shall be as gods, and ye will know good and evil. And the woman saw the tree that was agreeable and pleasant to the eyes, and its fruit, and it was good for food, and she took thereof and eat. And when she said, hold on, let me see if I can go, and be grounded for those taking the thorn thistles. And on that day in which Adam went forth from the garden, he offered sweet savoring, offering frankincense. No, let's see. Close the mouth of the beasts and cattle. Adam alone did flesh of the garden, and Adam and Eve call his wife. On this account, it was prescribed on the heavenly tablets as touching all those who knew the judgment of the law, and they shall cover their shame and should never uncover themselves as the Gentiles uncover themselves. On this day, on this account, it is prescribed on the heavenly tables, or it says tablets now, on the heavenly tablets. So maybe somebody did an error up on the other thing because it said tables up there with tablets here. Heavenly tablets as touching all who know the judgment of the law, and they should cover their shame and should never uncover themselves as the Gentiles uncover themselves. So nakedness was definitely out of covenant. And on the new moon of the fourth moon, Adam and his wife went forth from the Garden of Eden, and they dwelt in the land of Elda, in the land of their creation. Adam called the name of Eve his wife, and so they had no son till the first Jubilee. And after this he knew her, and he tilled the land, and as he been instructed her the Garden of Eden. And then it says, and on the third week in the second Jubilee he gave birth. Okay, so where was it? Somewhere I was reading this, so maybe it might have been in somewhere else, but it was talking about they got kicked out, and the account was written, heavenly tablets, cursed is he who smites his neighbor treacherously. All right, let me see if I can go up here. Therefore, the ordained regarding her who bears a male. Oh, here it is. It says where in the first week was Adam created, and the rib his wife in the second. He showed her unto him, and for this reason the commandment was given to keep in their defilement. So I don't know if showed her unto him was exposed to herself or something, or if it was sex, because this would ended up happening. It says, and for this reason the commandment was given to keep in their defilement for a male 7 days, and for a female twice 7 days. And after Adam had completed 40 days in the land where he had been created, we brought him into the Garden of Eden to till and keep it. But his wife they brought in on the 8th day, and after this she entered into the Garden of Eden. And for this reason the commandment was written on the heavenly tablets in regard to her that gives birth. If she bears a male, she shall remain in her uncleanness 7 days, according to the first week of the day, and 3 shall she remain in the blood of her purifying, and she shall not touch any hallowed thing, nor enter into the sanctuary until she accomplishes these days which are enjoined in the case of a male child. But this is the thing. So if Garden of Eden, if they're depicting it as it being the first temple, right? And on these 5 days, Adam saw all these male and female according to every kind, and was on the earth, but he was alone and found no helpmeet for him. And the Lord said unto us, it is not good that man should be alone. Let us make a helpmate for him. But mind you, this is on the 5th day. But be mindful that up in the text, I can go back up there, and I'm going to go back up there. It says, he created man and woman he created. All of the texts say that. So on whatever day there was woman and man created. So was there another man and woman created? Because, well, another woman created, because now it's saying that he was alone. But anyway, it says, and the Lord our God caused a deep sleep to fall upon him, and slept, and he took for the woman one rib from amongst his ribs, and his rib was the origin of the woman from amongst his ribs, and he built of the flesh and the steed, and built the woman. And he awakened Adam out of his sleep, and awakened he rose on the 6th day, and he brought her to him, and he knew her. Knew her means, and he knew her, and said unto her, this is now bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh, and shall be called my wife, which is his wife. And because she was taken from her husband, therefore shall man and wife be one, and therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. In the first week was Adam created, and the rib of his wife. In the 2nd week he showed her unto him. And for this reason the commandment was given to keep in their defilement. And I thought they said something was not defiled if it's the marriage, the woman and the man. The marriage bed is not defiled. For a male 7 days, and for the female twice 7 days. So I guess you can't be in the Garden of Eden out here, doing a Humpty dance, is basically what it looked like. But okay, so when we go up to here, and I'm sorry for jumping around, but it says, my face from them out, deliver them in the land of the Gentiles. Let's go back up here. And there's chapter 2, and the angel spake to Moses according to, and then it says, and the waters he commanded, God appointed them sun and sign, and he gave the light. These 3 kinds he made on the 4th day, and the 5th day he created great sea monsters in the depths, and the sun roses, these 3 kinds. And after his created man, it says 3 kinds, and and after this he created man and woman. Okay, so let's go to the day. These, God appointed the sun, and he light from the darkness, and these 3 kinds. So it says these 4 great works, and the waters he also commanded. And on the 3rd day he commanded the waters to pass from off the face of the whole earth, and onto the place in dry land to appear. And the waters did so. He commanded them, and they retired from off the face of the earth in one place outside of the firmament, and on the dry land appeared. And on that day he created for them all the seas according to their separate gathering places, and all the rivers, and all the gatherings of the water in the mountains, and on the earth, and all the lakes, and all the dew of the earth, and the seed which is sown, and all sprouting things, and fruit-bearing trees, and trees of the wood, and the Garden of Eden, and all plants after their kind. These 4 great works God created on the 3rd day, and on the 4th day he created the sun and the moon and the stars, and set them in the firmament of the heavens to give light upon all the earth, and to rule over the day and the night, and divide the light from the darkness. And God appointed the sun to be a great sign on the earth for days, for the Sabbaths, and for months, and for the feasts, and for the years, for the Sabbaths of the years, for the Jubilees, and for all seasons of the years. And it divided the light from the darkness, and for prosperity, and all things that prosper, which shoot and grow on the earth. These three kinds he made on the fourth day, and on the fifth day he created sea monsters, and on the depths of the waters, for these were the first things of flesh that were created by his hands, and fish and everything that moves in the waters, and everything that flies, and birds and all their kind. And the sun rose above them and prospered them, and about everything that was on the earth, everything that shoots out of the earth, and all fruit-bearing trees and all flesh. These three kinds he created on the fifth day, and on the sixth day he created all the animals of the earth, and the cattle, and everything that moves on the earth. And after all this he created man. So on the sixth day, he created man. So, and on the sixth day, he created all the animals of the earth and all the cattle and everything that moves on the earth. And after all this, he created man. And man and woman he created. And them and gave him dominion over all that is upon the earth and the seas, and over everything that flies, and over the beasts, and over the cattle, and over everything that moves on the earth, and over the whole earth. And over all this, he gave them dominion. And these four kinds he created on the sixth day, and they were all together in 220 kinds. And he finished all his work on the sixth day. All that is in the heavens and on the earth and in the seas and in the abyss. The abyss was created, and the lights and the darkness and everything. And he gave upon the great sign on the Sabbath day, and what should work, and that we should work 6 days, but keep the Sabbath and the seventh day from all the work. And all the angels of the presence, and all the angels of the sanctification, these two great classes he hath hidden, or bidden, it says bidden, he hath bidden us to keep the Sabbath with him in heaven on earth. And he said unto us, behold, I will separate unto myself a people from among all the peoples, and all these shall keep the Sabbath day, and I will sanctify them unto myself and my people, and will bless them. And I have sanctified the Sabbath day, and to do. So mind you, right here is when he done already said, behold, I will separate unto myself a people from amongst all people. So there's more people, or there was more people. Where the people, other people come from? So it says there's other people. I will separate unto myself a people from among all the peoples, and these shall keep the Sabbath day, and I will sanctify them unto myself and my people, and will bless them, as I have sanctified the Sabbath day, and do sanctify it unto myself. Even so I will bless them, and they shall be my people, and I will be their God. And I have chosen the seed of Jacob, which is in Genesis, before Jacob was even born. It's right here. And I will choose the seed of Jacob from amongst all that I have seen, and have written him down as my firstborn son. So before Jacob was even thought about, in Genesis, as God is creating, he is already stating that Jacob was his people. So my firstborn son, and have sanctified him unto myself forever and ever. And I will teach them the Sabbath day, that they may keep the Sabbath therein from all work. Mind you, as I'm even now, so then somebody else came behind it, and this is why I said it has to be, people have to be careful of who's actually interpreting the actual text, because then somehow after that I heard on another thing that I was listening to, they tried to change exactly what God said right here. And then they try to now make it so that, but mind you, it's the corruption, that it's okay for whatever the hell they was talking about, because I just kind of tuned out after I started hearing the narrative that they was trying to push. But anyway, so this was actually given at the same time as the tablets was given. But they decided that this wasn't important. How do you decide that something that you claiming that you follow God, but this was given at the same time, but you just completely tossed this out? And then you created a narrative that Jacob stole from Esau, when it's right here. This was given at the same time all the other commandments was given, but mind you, they decided to, you know, I'm not going to use this part. And so this is why I keep saying that there's a lot of stuff that is not being shown, and all all I'm asking for is the truth. Like, uncorrupted, unadulterated, the truth and nothing but the truth. Like, give us the texts and the documents that were found, seen, saw, and where y'all decided that y'all didn't think that this fit the narrative of, you know, you and the thing that you were trying to push. Can we have that stuff? Because it's clear that they have lied, and they're going to keep lying. So, I will teach them the Sabbath day that they may keep the Sabbath therein from all work. And thus he created therein a sign in accordance with which they should keep the Sabbath with us on the seventh day, to eat and to drink and to bless him who has created all things, as he has blessed and sanctified unto himself a peculiar, or it might have been, it says peculiar people above all peoples, and that they should keep the Sabbath together with us, the angels in heaven. They don't want whoever the bloodline is, where God said it, they don't want them to do this. They want them to continue to be oblivious, because up where God is saying, even above this, it says, when they deceive them, I will give you into the hands. When you know who you are and you start doing the things, actively seeking and learning and doing the things, they can't touch you, and they know it. So if you can pull power from heaven, this is how close God is trying to tell you you will be held. They can't do nothing with you if you recognize and know who you are and start actively seeking the right direction. But if you don't, then you could be delivered into the hands and they could do whatever they want to do with you. This is why they want to keep the people off the right time schedule. But who am I? Mind you, this is a whole group of people, because the Bible, the people that gave you the Bible, they know. The people that's sitting in the Catholic Church, they know. This is why they're beefing right now, because a lot of stuff is being exposed and they can't hide from the fact that they did this. And I ain't saying nothing, because guess what? I'm saying something. I'm just reading what was there. I ain't judging, because I don't have the right to judge nobody for nothing that they did. This is between them and God. All I'm supposed to do is figure my way back to what covenant, what contract I signed to be here at this moment in time, to make sure that I'm doing the right things. But by this standard, ain't nobody doing the right thing, because this is what they wanted to keep hiding from people. So then it says, and he caused his commands to ascend as a sweet savior, acceptable before him all the days. So, hold on, let me go back up, because I'm at 20 right now, just for anybody, because I jumped. So let me go back up to 20. And it says, and I have chosen a seed of Jacob from amongst all that I have seen, and have written him down. Mind you, this is the funny part. And I have chosen the seed of Jacob from amongst all that I have seen. So when that part, I knew you before you were in your mother's womb. It's like when God created this realm, this earth, like he already knew what was going to happen. Like it was like a story that got played out. And so Jacob, he picked Jacob out, this the person. That right there, like, man, can you imagine? You literally can go through the worlds and see what's going to happen before it even plays itself out. Because technically this was already written and it's still playing itself out to this day. I have seen and written him down as my firstborn son, and I have sanctified him unto myself forever and ever. And I will teach him the Sabbath day, and they may keep the Sabbath therein from all work. 21. And thus he created therein a sign in accordance with which they should keep the Sabbath with us on the seventh day, to eat and to drink and to bless him who has created all things, as he has blessed and sanctified unto himself a peculiar people above all peoples, and that they shall keep the Sabbath together with us. 22. And he caused his commandments to ascend as a sweet savior, acceptable before him all the days. 23. There were 22 heads of mankind from Adam to Jacob, and 20 kinds of work were made unto the seventh day. This is blessed and holy, and the former also is blessed and holy, and this one serves with that one for sanctification and blessing. And to this Jacob and his seed it was granted that they should always be blessed and holy ones of the first testimony and law, even as he has sanctified and blessed the Sabbath day on the seventh day. So it said forever and ever. It don't matter what nobody else come in and say. Forever and ever. Hey, Majestic Grace, wealthiest rising. Love you. Thank you for being here. So forever and ever. No changing it. But mind you, there's somebody narrating tried to change it. It don't matter. This was the moment where it is, remember what I told you. I don't care what they said. Like when you talk to your kids and you tell your kids, I don't care what nobody else say. I need you to remember this. Write it in your heart, write it in your mind, ingest it, know it, so that way nobody can take it from you. Because somebody's going to try to come along and take it from you. But he said forever and ever. And he caused his commands to ascend as a sweet savior above, acceptable before him all the days. There were 22 heads of mankind from Adam. So I think that's the lineage, how many people before him. From Adam to Jacob, and 20 kinds of work were made until the seventh day. This is blessed and holy. And the former also is blessed and holy. And this one serves with that one for sanctification and blessing. And to this Jacob and his seed, it was granted that they shall always be blessed, and the holy ones of the first testimony and law, even as he has sanctified and blessed the Sabbath day on the seventh day. And he created the heaven and the earth and everything that he created in 6 days. And God made the seventh day holy for all his works. Therefore, he commanded on his behalf that whosoever does any work thereon shall die. This is why y'all looking old. Can't be out here working on the Sabbath day. You gotta rest. Mind you, then in here, it also gives you years and things of this nature. They supposed to release debts. These people ain't doing nothing that they supposed to do. Nothing. Mind you, all we got to do is talk to God about it. God, we debt free. Because we done gave them all we could give them. We done gave them entirely too much, actually, if you really want to be honest about it. Because they been out here lying for a very long time. So, let's see. They shall always be blessed and holy ones of the first testimony and the law, and the sanctification and blessings on the Sabbath day. 25, it says, he created heaven and earth and everything that he created on the sixth day. And God made the seventh day holy for all his works. Therefore, he commanded on his behalf that whoever does any work thereon shall die, and that he who defiles it shall surely die. So do with that information which y'all will. 26, wherefore do thou command the children of Israel to observe this day, that they may keep it holy, and do not thereon any work, and do not defile it, as it is holier than all other days. 27, and whosoever profanes it shall surely die, and whosoever does thereon any work shall surely die eternally, that the children of Israel may observe this day throughout their generations, and not be rooted out of the land, for it is holy. It is a holy day and a blessed day. And everyone who observes it and keeps Sabbath therein from all his work will be holy and blessed throughout all their days unto us. 29, declare and say to the children of Israel the law of this day, both that they shall keep Sabbath thereon, and that they should not forsake in the error of their hearts, and that it is not lawful to do any work therein which is unseemly, to do therein their own pleasure, and that they should not prepare thereon anything to be eaten or drunk, and that it is not lawful to draw water or bring in or take out therein through their gates any burdens which they had not prepared for themselves on the sixth day in their dwellings. And they shall not bring in nor take out from their house to house on that day. For that means that you shouldn't be anywhere at nobody else's house. And they shall not bring in nor take out from house to house on that day. So y'all shouldn't be bringing food back and forth, and none of that is more holy and blessed than any Jubilee day of the Jubilees. On this we kept the Sabbath in the heavens before it was made known to any flesh to keep the Sabbath therein. She said and, period. Thereon, Sabbath there on the earth. And the creator of all things blessed it, but he did not sanctify all peoples and nations to keep the Sabbath thereon. But Israel alone, them alone, he permitted to eat and drink and to keep Sabbath thereon the earth. So this is another thing. And the creator of all things blessed it, but did not sanctify all peoples and nations to keep the Sabbath thereon. But Israel alone, them alone he permitted to eat and drink and do keep the Sabbath there on the earth. So on this earth, where we at Earth School, you know they're about to have them plates. That's what I'm saying. You know, on Earth School, mind you, because the days have been, you know, jacked up, this, that, and the third, and I'm going to let this play again, but do with the information what you will, but it's right here. And translation and communication it does play a part. So that, again, also be mindful of that. It says, this law is testimony. This law and testimony was given to the children of Israel as a law forever unto their generations. Mind you, we still at creation. So just so y'all know. Adam names all the creatures 1 through 3, creation of Eve, and enactment of Levitical laws of purification 4 through 14. Adam and Eve in paradise, their sin and expulsion. 1529, law of covering one's shame enacted. Adam and Eve live in Elda. So it says, on the 6th day of the 2nd week, we brought according to the word of God unto Adam all the beasts and all the cattle. So I guess we still at the 6th day. Let's see. And everything that moves on the earth and everything that moves in the water according to their kinds and according to their types, the beasts on the 1st day, the cattle on the 2nd day, the birds on the 3rd day, and all which moves on the earth on the 4th day. Hey, RJ. And which moves in the water on the 5th day. And Adam named them all by their respective names, and it's called unto them, so was their name. And on these 5 days, Adam saw all these, male and female, according to every kind that was on the earth, but he was alone. This the thing. So on these 5 days, but remember, Adam didn't get created till the 6th day. So this has to be days after, because the Sabbath is when God rested. And now it says, and on these 5 days. So that means 5 days later. It got to be 5 days later. I mean, I gave y'all the thing. So somebody look at it and see. Because if he wasn't created till the 6th day, is what it says. And then it says, on these 5 days, Adam saw all these, male and female, according to every kind that was on the earth, but he was alone. But mind you, on the 6th day is when he created man and woman he created he. So the Ethiopian Bible is the truth. I agree. From ages 12 to 30, he disappeared back to Ethiopia. Yeah, but they're not going to tell you that. We were to be on celestial time, not lunar colonial. Yes, and that's correct. That is the divine time and God's time. And so I agree with you because it's right here and it says that. But also, this is where, again, so what happened when man and woman he created, and man and woman, because it's literally right here, because I made sure I went back to say, let's see, he created the earth and everything he created on the 6th day. God made the earth day for holy, for this works. Y'all heard me make sure that I said this was the 6th day. So where we at? It says, and after all this, he created man and a woman created him. This was on the 6th day. So there's something missing in between that day and now 5 days later, because he said, and on these 5 days, Adam saw all these male and female. Adam wasn't there on the 5th day. There was no man and woman on the 5th day. There was man and woman he created on the 6th day. So something is missing. And on these 5 days, Adam saw all of these male and female, but it does say that these people, so these are God's people, even from separated from the other people. So who are the other people and where is they information at? Good work enlightening and helping them out of the deep deception. Are you reading the book of Enoch? Good conversation. This is the book of Jubilees. So the 2 books that was actually should have been in the Bible as well that they took out, this is the book of Jubilees. This is the text that was also given to Moses at Mount Sinai. So this is it. Tax season and census were when all were called back. Yeshua born in April. Yeshua is black. I'm not debating, like I said, I'm not debating nobody's religion, this, that, and the third. I mean, I agree with you in all the things, but again, this right here was what was important because this is what kept the dates. So I'm gonna play this again for y'all. We're gonna go back over here.
Both demonstrate that despite
give me some tissue too, please.
Humans retain connections to their original purpose, to worship God and to tend the earth. The angel clarifies to Moses that Adam and Eve didn't merely lose a garden, they lost direct contact with holiness. Therefore, the tablets of heaven were commanded regarding them that they should be separated from all defilement. Sin created a barrier between earth and heaven, between humans and divine presence. Outside Eden, the first couple begin to work the land. Adam tills the soil, while Eve discovers to fashion clothing. They acquire skills they never required in paradise. Agriculture, weaving, cooking with fire. They have children. First Cain with his sister Awan, then Abel with his sister Azura. Jubilees carefully documents these details, completing gaps Genesis leaves open. When Adam and Eve have Seth to replace murdered Abel, Jubilees states this exactly. After 5 weeks in the 4th year of the 5th week of the first Jubilee. This exact dating isn't merely trivia, it's fundamental to the book's message. Every occurrence happens at its designated time, inscribed in heaven's records before the world commenced. Time itself has transformed after Eden. Now, humans exist inside rigid measurements. Days, weeks, months, years, and jubilees. The first Jubilee, 49 years, marks the transition from paradise to the world of work, pain, and death. The universal clock has started its count, measuring down through history toward ultimate judgment and restoration. The angel informs Moses that Adam and Eve mourn.
All right, so this is called the entire book of Jubilees, right? So it's called Nightfall Tactics. Those are the people who did that. But anyway, I also gave y'all the PDF. Is inside of, each area if y'all are talking. But this is what's important. So for y'all to go and look at this. It says, exactly, because I've been seeing some other books too, so I've been seeing that too. But we gonna go with what God gave them, and then we have to see what else is outside of that, like the Dead Sea Scrolls and all that. So it says, and Noah ordained them for himself as feasts for the generations forever, so that they have come, so that they become. And I'm at 24 on page 16, I think. And Noah ordained them for himself as feasts for the generations forever, so that they have become, and I just started in the middle, okay? So, let me go back up here. So I'm gonna start at 21. It says, for it is the feast of weeks and the feast of the first fruits. The feast is twofold and of double nature, according to what is written and engraved concerning it celebrated. Let me go back up here. I'm going to go back up a little bit. All right, for this is the reason it is ordained and it is written in the heavenly tablets that they should celebrate the Feast of the Weeks in this month, once a year, to renew their covenant every year. Every year you're to renew your covenant, right? And it says, and this holy festival was celebrated in heaven from the day of creation, is when it started. Oh, I know. You ain't right. You definitely right. And the whole festival was celebrated in the heaven from the day of creation till the days of Noah, 26 Jubilees. So 26 Jubilees, 50 years at a time. So that one thing we can account for. And 5 weeks of years, 1309 to 1659 AM. And Noah and his sons observed it for 7 Jubilees. And so you add that 26, and then you add the 7 because Noah did it for 7, and 1 week of years till the day of Noah's death. And from the day of Noah's death, his sons did away with it. Problem 1 first started, because it's supposed to be celebrated every year. But Noah's sons did away with it until the days of Abraham, and thy eat blood, is what it says. Oh, they eat blood, and they eat blood. 19, but Abraham observed it, and Isaac and Jacob and his children observed it up to thy days, and thy days the children of Israel forgot it until ye celebrated it anew on this mountain. So 20 says, and do thou command the children of Israel to observe this festival in all their generations for commandment unto them. 1 day in the year, in this month, they shall celebrate the festival. So what day is this? Let's see. This is when all right, so I'm going to go back up. And it says, it's on 6, page 15. And behold, I have given unto you all the beasts and all the winged things and everything that moves on the earth, and the fish of the waters and all things of food, the green herbs, I have given to you all things. But flesh with the life thereof, with the blood, ye shall not eat. For the life of all flesh is in the blood, lest your blood of your lives be required. At the hand of every man and at the hand of every beast will I require the blood of man. Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall blood be shed, for an image of God made by he man. And you increase ye and multiply on the earth. And Noah and his sons swore that they would not eat any blood that was in any flesh, and he made a covenant before the Lord. So I can tell you right now what just came to mind, because it's some people that eat blood pudding. Definitely not y'all. So, because that's totally no. And he made the covenant before the Lord forever throughout all generations of the earth in this month. But what month are they talking about? So let me go back up here. Oh, okay, so it's chapter 6, and on the new moon of the 3rd month, he went forth from the ark. Oh, everything happened on a new moon. That was the other thing, because y'all know I done read this to y'all 1,000 times, well, at least a couple times. But anyway, on the new moon, everything kept happening on the new moon, because remember when I said, why everything keep happening on the new moon? So it's the new moon, it's the 3rd month, but the month actually supposed to start. The first month is March. January, February, March. It's March is what I seen in one of the texts. But it could be April because it's supposed to be during the time of, spring. So technically that would be the beginning. And so it's supposed to be the new moon. When's the new moon? Because this is a full moon. And see, this would also be the thing where it would be have been corrupted. The first month is April. So when was the new moon in April? Somebody tell me. Because this is a full moon. Or when is the new moon? Because this April, right? The new moon in April 2026 will occur on Friday, April 17th. So that's April 17th, y'all, just so y'all know. Okay, so April 17th. So whatever dates they got right now ain't right and they wrong. So it says, and on the new moon of the third month, so the first month would be April, May, June. So it's June. It's June 17th. Is that not correct? And the new moon of the third month. So if the first month is April, May, June, right? April, May, June. Or is that July? April, May, June. It's June. So June 17th. What is June 17th? What is June 17th this year? What falls on June 17th? Okay, so June. So what falls on June 17th then? Hold on. What falls on... No, the new moon. What day is the new moon? Because it's the new moon. The new moon in June. When... What is the new moon in June? The new moon will occur on June 25th. Nope, that ain't right. What is the new moon in June 2026? Why would they pull up June 2025? Like, that's stupid. The new moon on June 25th will occur. It's June. I mean, in June 26th. It's June 15th. Using the actual book I have to look it up. Takes a bit more time. All right, what's June 15th? So June 15th is there anything? Do they have a holiday or anything listed? It's June. No. Oh, you said June 25th. Well, I don't know, but June 15th is the new moon, okay? So it says the new moon on every time. New moon, is there holiday on June 15th, 2025? Guess what the hell it is? It is Father's Day. So it's Father's Day is what they have listed, but that is the day that it is. Y'all, but it's a patriarch system. So wouldn't that be something? Mind you, guess what? Father's Day is the day that least gets celebrated out of all the holidays that they have introduced into the system. Now, ain't that some shit? Mind you, it says on the new moon of the third month, he went forth from the ark. So that would be when Noah, that was the promise, right? So celebrating that day, mind you, it says, so we go back down. Okay, so let me just go here. It says, and on the new moon of the third month, he went forth from the ark and built an altar on the mountain, and he made atonement for the earth and took a kid, the animal, made atonement by its blood for all guilt of the earth, for everything that had been on the earth, it had been destroyed, save those that were in the ark with Noah. And he placed the fat thereof on the altar, and he took an ox and a goat and a sheep and kids and salt and turtle dove and the young of the dove, and placed the burnt sacrifice on the altar and poured thereon an offering mingled with oil and sprinkled wine and strewed frankincense all over everything, and caused a godly savior. I don't think I'm saying this word right. It's a savior. It's like the savor something. Basically is like, so I guess I am saying it right, but savor to arise acceptable before the Lord, or yeah. And the Lord smelt the godly save 13 months in year 2. I know. So 13 months, 364. And he made a covenant with him that there should not be, hold on, y'all. Let me make sure. Hold on. Let me see. because I want to make sure that I'm pronouncing something right, because I be just moving too fast, and I want to make sure allow translate savor. Yeah, savor. Okay. It means to fully enjoy, relish, appreciate the taste, smell, experience of something, usually done slowly. I mean, I just be trying to make sure we got definitions properly, y'all. Why ain't saying it? I be hating when my phone be not want to act right in the midst of, because why are you not?
Savor.
Savor. Okay. All right. So wait, let me plug you back in and go back. The new moon was April 20th. We observed the Passover Thursday and yesterday. Yeah, times was off. The time is off because of what they did. So the new moon for this month, let's see. So even like how they got it now. When was the new moon? What's this? So the new moon for April would be the 17th, but is what it just said. When's the new moon for April? Excuse me. So why I keep wanting to pull up 2025? That's weird. It literally, every time I ask it something, it keeps wanting to pull up 2025. Why would it do that if it knows we're in 2026? So the new moon for this month is the 17th. And everything happens on the new moon because remember, it's supposed to fall on the same date, the same day every time based off of the 364. So that would mean that whatever's supposed to happen this month is supposed to happen on the 17th and not right now. Also, the new moon for... All right, so anyway, we probably would have to figure out what date they said the Passover would be on based off of this and then do it. So maybe, let me see. I'm going to see if I could do something for y'all. I ain't going to promise, but I'm going to see if I can take and put this in something and see if I can kind of make us a calendar. I ain't going to promise now. And because if I can do it, then I can. If not, you will teach more in the future. God has much for us to do to wake up the blind. Thank you. I'm trying. I mean, because again, I don't know, you know, I'm just knowing what I know right at this moment, because this is above my pay grade, okay? So I'm just trying to make some understanding of it, and God help. Thank you. Savor and make a covenant with him that there should not be any more flood to destroy the earth, that all the days of the earth, seed and harvest should never cease, cold and heat and summer and winter, and the day and the night should not. Okay, you know what? I gotta ask another question, because literally now that it's there, I need to know. All right, so what I want to know is, where did Father's Day come from originally? Because I ain't never looked up nothing about Father's Day. It says Father's Day started in the United States thanks to a woman named Senora Smart Dodd. In 1909, she was inspired after hearing a sermon about Mother's Day. She wanted to honor her father, a Civil War veteran who raised 6 children alone after his wife died. The first Father's Day celebration happened 1910 in Spokane, became official. It slowly gained popularity after over decades. In 1972, President Richard Nixon made a national holiday in the U.S. It's now celebrated in the third Sunday in June in many countries. Where the older versions, it says there are some earlier traditions honoring fathers or fatherhood, but they weren't the same holiday. In Catholic Europe, there's a day tied to Saint Joseph, which is March 17th, honoring fatherhood in a religious sense. Ancient cultures respected fathers and patriarchs, but no global Father's Day existed like today. The real takeaways: Father's didn't come from ancient scripture or hidden symbolism. It came from a daughter's wanting to honor a good father. Let me check. Let me see. I'm gonna go to Google real quick because hold on, this Bing, because I don't like Bing. Bing be lying, so I want to go to Google and ask them. Theo, hi, welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Theo, she be standing on business. Majestic Grace, I'll be trying to figure it out because I got to make it make sense. I don't want to lie to nobody because I do not want to be held accountable for lies. I want to be able to tell the truth. Or at least be diligent in the fact that God know I went and looked it up and I didn't just tell people bullshit. So, all right. So Father's Day, it says, I said, where did Father's Day come from originally? And it says the same exact thing. So it wasn't lying. It said Father's Day originated in Spokane, Washington in 1910, thanks to Senora Smart Dodd, who wanted to honor her father and all fathers. So Father's Day was first proposed by Senora Smart Dodd in 1909 in Spokane, Washington, inspired by a Mother's Day sermon. She wanted a similar holiday to recognize fathers, particularly her own father, William Jackson Smart, a Civil War veteran who raised 6 children alone after his wife died in childbirth. She initially suggested celebrating on June 5th, her father's birthday, but the first official celebration was held June 19th, 1910. Mind you, that is a number all on its own. 19191910. I'm gonna see what it means. At the Spokane YMCA, later moved to the third Sunday in June for convenience. Mind you, we're not supposed to be celebrating any of this shit. And you can always celebrate your mother and your father, but should you? Let's see. It say June 19th. April, May, June. That's 6. Let's see. Why I still pull up Bing? April, May, January, February, March, April, May, June. 6191910. Angel number. All right. It says this angel number is linked to new beginnings, independence, and following your own path. People aligned with this divine code often make their own opportunities and naturally take the lead. Now, ain't that something? That date that they gave basically it looks like a code. And so y'all type it and see if y'all see what I'm talking about. But anyway, so it says down here, once we get past here, it says, and on this account he spake to thee, and thou shouldn't make a covenant with the children of Israel in this month upon the mountain with an oath, and that thou should sprinkle blood upon them. Thou shalt speak, and that thou shouldn't, SHOULDST, shouldn't sprinkle blood upon them because of all the words of the covenant which the Lord made with them forever. And this testimony is written concerning you, that you should observe it continually, so that you shall not eat on any day any blood of beasts or birds or cattle during all the days of the earth. But mind you, this particular covenant you're supposed to do every year. So you're supposed to contract with God this day, because that was the day that he gave Noah for that he will not flood the earth. And then people keep saying, God said he promised he would not flood the earth. Well, guess what? Y'all still out of covenant, because y'all was supposed to do this every year. Every year you were supposed to do it. Actually, numbers mean everything. Universal language, numbers, noun, ponder. The letter I was just created later by the colonists. So launder what that real names are. So the code, it was 6 191910. So y'all type it in and see what y'all get, because y'all know everybody will get something different. And if you choose to share, you can put it in the chat. If not, you don't have to. But if you wish to, tell me what it means to you, what it meant, what it came up for you, because I just told you what it gave me. So it says that covenant is supposed to be redone every year. The earth and man who eats of blood or beast of cattle or birds during all the days of the earth, he and his seed shall be rooted out of the land. That means you and your family, you and your kids, you and your generation shall be rooted out of the land if you do that. And for some reason it's given, it says, and do thou commanded the children of Israel to eat no blood, so that their names and their seed may be before the Lord our God continually. And for this law, there is no limit of days, for it is forever. They said forever. You are not to consume no blood. Period, point blank. So that their names and their seed may be before the Lord our God continually. And for this law, there is no limit of days, for it is forever. They shall observe it throughout their generation, so that they may continue supplicating on your behalf with... You see what I'm saying? Now think about this. Think about this, because this what just popped in my mind. What is communion? What do they tell you at communion? They give you the wine, but they're telling you to consume the blood of who? But mind you, it said right here, the children of Israel shall never do that. Y'all, I ain't saying nothing, but they said something. Hey, good morning, son. They said something.
You know, Seven was up late last night.
What she was doing?
She was up until like 1:30 in the morning.
She was in your room?
Yeah.
Seven, you was hanging out? She looking at you like, why you snitching? Why you telling on her? Y'all, it says the children of Israel should not be doing this. Meanwhile, I'm watching people, what they do the first Sunday, flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood. That's a curse to y'all. But this is the same tablets that they gave Moses, that they gave y'all in the church. But mind you, they left this part out. But it says, and for this law, there is no limit of days, for it is forever. They shall observe it throughout their generation, so that they may continue supplicating on your behalf with blood before the altar. Listen. It said forever. And thou commandest the children of Israel to eat no blood, so that their names and their seed may be before the Lord our God continually. And for this law there is no limit of days, for it is forever. They shall observe it throughout their generation, so that they may continue supplicating on your behalf with blood before the altar every day. And at the time of the morning and evening, they shall seek forgiveness on your behalf perpetually before the Lord, that they may keep it and not be rooted out. And he gave to Noah and his sons sign that there shall not again be a flood on the earth. He set his bow in the cloud for a sign of eternal covenant, that there shall not again be a flood on the earth to destroy it. Now let me go back and read this just to make sure, because again, this is what it said. And this testimony is written concerning you that should observe it continually, so that you shall not eat on any day any blood of beast or birds or cattle during all the days of the earth. And the man who eats the blood of the beast or the cattle of the birds during all the days of the earth, he and his seed shall be rooted out of the land. See, this is the thing. But we have to remember, their covenants and their commandments are not ours. So what God told them is what God told them. What God told the children of Israel is something different, because it said the children of Israel. So whether or not somebody came to do whatever they needed to do for somebody else's sins, this, that, and the third, if you're not observing what is for you, then you're out of covenant. Plus, in so-called Jeremiah, it states to not decorate or idolize trees. I mean, y'all can read it for yourselves. It's right here. It said, and Noah and his sons swore that they would not eat any blood that was in any flesh. And he made a covenant before the Lord God. Why I smell coffee? I ain't making no coffee. But for some reason, I smell coffee. All right, it said, and Noah and his sons swore that they would not eat any blood that was within any flesh, and he made a covenant before the Lord God forever throughout all generations of the earth in this month. On this account, I smell coffee, like big time. Like, it's like all of a sudden I just got engulfed in it. Like somebody got coffee and now I got coffee. On his account we spake to thee. That's what it say. So do with this information what y'all will. If you do that, you're out of covenant. So you should not be sitting in nobody's nowhere doing that if you identify as this. It's right here. So then it says, and he gave to Noah and his sons a sign that there should not again be a flood on the earth. He set his bow in the cloud for a sign of the eternal. That's the rainbow, right? He set his bow in the cloud for a sign of eternal covenant that there shall not again be a flood on the earth to destroy it all the days of the earth. For this reason, it is ordained and written on the heavenly tablets that they should celebrate the Feast of Weeks, which is that Feast of Weeks in this month once a year to renew the covenant. So just so y'all know, what date did we give y'all? It was March what? What day was that? March, let me see. I'm going to have to write it down because I need to make sure I remember. Oh, it wasn't March. It was June. So March, April, May, June. What day was it, y'all? See what I'm saying? Look how it slips already so fast. So it says the third day, the third month. So if the first month is April, May, June, July, it's July. So July, new moon in July. When is the new moon for July? July 2026. So the new moon in July 26th will occur on Tuesday, July 14th. So new moon is the lunar phase when the moon is supposed to be between the earth and the sun. So it would be that. It would be July 14th, okay? So do with that information what you will. I need a pen because I need to start writing down these days as we going through some of this stuff. And that way, like I said, we can kind of figure out some of the stuff. So, that is the day that you renew the covenant. So I need to PDF this. Matter of fact, let me send this and see if I can get this written out. Because then I can go through it and I can kind of write on it what I want to write on it. And as we go through this, because maybe a couple of y'all, if y'all want to decide to help me, we can kind of go through it and see if we can calculate these days. And all right, so I got the open file. Then I'm gonna send it. I'm gonna print this out, and then I'm gonna start writing things beside it, so that way we can kind of figure it out, and I ain't got to keep going back and forth. All right, so that is the renew every year. So that is called the Feast of Weeks. They should celebrate the Feast of Weeks. So July 14th should be celebrated the Feast of Weeks. If that's the date that we got calculated right. It says Majestic Grace says 61910 carries the energy of closing a karmic cycle, reclaiming authority over your life and beginning again on your terms. Look at God. See how God be giving us messages? Because this would be one of those cycles, closing a karmic cycle, because literally they try to, deceive us, and now we figuring it out for yourself. So I like that. It says, and this whole festival was celebrated in heaven from the day of creation. So mind you, the day of creation is when this started. We're supposed to be celebrating the day of weeks, the feast of weeks. So I wonder if they have this, the feast of weeks. Okay, so let's see what day they have it on. Let me see if this is something that they even celebrate. When in 2026 is the feast of weeks. It says in 2026 there are, no, I said the feast of weeks. Okay, so it says the Pentecost celebrated May 29th. So the Feast of Weeks Pentecost will be celebrated May 29th. May, June. It say, so why would they have it that day? Because right here it say it should be celebrated the third. There is no May 29th. No, I didn't say that. It say, oh, it do say that. It say May 29th. May 29th, this marks the coming of the Holy Spirit upon the apostles. And it literally says that. Only in May. Let's see, calendar. It says May has 30 days. Let me see. April. Yep, it has 29 days. So May 2026, it has 29 days. Why is it saying May 27th is Eid? Are we having another Ramadan? Y'all see what I'm saying? It say Eid. But this is the thing. That's what I'm getting at. I'm trying to figure out what day they have because I'm trying to, correlate both things to see what they did and what it's supposed to be. That's the reason why. And so here it say the May 29th is when they actually will be celebrating the Feast of Weeks. But it says right here, it should be observed continually so that you should not eat any day, any blood. So then it goes, what day is it? Earth. And the new moon of the third month. Why would they be celebrating it on the 29th if, what moon is that in? See, this is why the stuff is messed up. What moon is the 29th of May in? Let's see. What moon is the 29th of May in? What moon is the 29th of May 2026 in? It says that's in a waxing gibbous moon. But mind you, if you actually go look up example, it's not actually the 2020. Yeah, I know that. That's what I'm saying. The thing is this though. What I also like looking at is when they give us days, when they say and celebrate something on this day, it makes me know that they did something. So I like to know what they done and what they doing, so that way I know what to undo. Okay? So that's why I'm saying that. But mind you, Majestic Grace, do you remember when I was reading the book of Jubilees, I kept saying, and mind you, it says because it's 364 days, everything should fall around the same exact time. Everyone kept saying new moon, new moon, new moon, and I said everything keeps happening on a new moon. So why would the Jewish people, that might explain it, but why would, if it says everything was on a new moon, why would they be wanting to celebrate it on a waxing gibbous moon? This means that approximately 96.4% to 97.59% of the lunar disk will be illuminated by the sun. They doing it on full moons. They're doing rituals on full moons. That's like when I told you, when they was doing that ritual, putting their sins and shit, and then giving it to people, acting like they didn't know that that's not what you're supposed to be doing. They worship the sun and the moon. It says the waxing gibbous moon represents refinement, preparation, and final steps towards completion before the full moon. The waxing gibbous moon is an intermediate phase of lunar cycles that occurs after the first quarter and before the full moon, with illumination increasing from about 50% to nearly 100%. Waxing means the visible portion of the moon is growing, while gibbous refers to its convex humpback shape. This phase is visible. I don't like Bing either, so let me get off of here because I asked for Google. I mean, it could be right, but I just don't like them. Bing, I found lies a lot. So Google be not giving a fuck because Google was here before everything else, and Google said you ain't gonna fuck up their reputation, so you ain't gonna do it. Why do you still keep pulling to Bing though? I asked for Google. Google, please, and thank you. Stop trying to put me over there. I asked for Google and it still put me over there. Like, I don't want to talk to y'all. I don't got nothing to say to y'all. Alright, so enter. It says is the lunar phase between the first quarter and full moon, where the moon appears, and see how they even put that first quarter. That's the reason why they doing it. Because, you know, first, they think that everything should be first. That's the reason why they got that narrative between Esau and Jacob, because Esau was first, but mind you, Jacob was chosen before he even got here. Refinement and action. When you can get those actual books. What actual books? Refinement and the PDF that I said I was gonna send. Yeah, I already sent it to myself, so I'm gonna send it to get it printed. Refinement and action. It's time for taking action on intentions. You see what I'm saying? This is their shit. This is why they doing some of the stuff that they doing. Because spiritually, what does that tell you? It's the time for taking action on intentions set during the new moon and making necessary adjustments, whatever y'all done. But mind you, you're not doing it the right way. So technically, it's like casting spells all over again. And this is why the energy feels the way it feels when, you know, when a full moon comes, because it's people doing stuff. It says introspection and review, a phase for reviewing your progress, analyzing details, and fine-tuning projects. Now, if you're using it and you would be doing the right thing, then, and mind you, it says rituals. Common rituals, including. All right, so let's go from here. Anyway, from what I've seen in here, real quick, Google when Europeans were first discovered, then Google when Africans were. It says Europeans and Africans have known of each other since antiquity, but systematically discovery or direct sustained contact began in the 15th century. Portuguese pioneers pioneered maritime routes. I don't think it means that Europeans. When did they exist? When did each come about? Because I said, when did Europeans and Africans first? When were they first discovered? Europeans and Africans first. When did each about? It says modern human Africans evolved approximately 3,000 to 260,000 years ago, while early modern humans arrived in Europe around 40,000 to 45,000 years ago. Documented large-scale European exploration of sub-Saharan African, but it's not giving me what I asked for. They just want me to know when did white people appear. Let's ask it that. That is funny. It said light skin and modern humans evolved relatively recently. Damn. It said the light skin and modern humans evolved relatively recently, with genetic variants for white skin appearing in Europe roughly 7,000 to 8,000 years ago. Early humans migrated from Africa, where dark skin in northern climates reduced UV light. So they ain't been here that long. That's what Google said. Google said y'all niggas just showed up. They say the transition studies from early Europe hunter-gatherers, such as those from 7,700-year-old Motalia archaeological site in Sweden, show that they were among the first to have light skin gene variants. If that's the case, then that means there's a lot of lies happening. Because Google said y'all niggas just got here. When did black people appear? I am crying. If it's a lie, Google told it. When did black people appear on the planet? Y'all. Y'all, this shit say modern humans with dark skin, the ancestry of all humanity, appeared in Africa approximately 200 to 300,000 years ago. These early humans developed dark skin as protection against high ultraviolet radiation. And how in the hell, y'all, are you fucking shitting me? Google literally said that the white people got here 7,000 to 8,000 years ago. And that the black people been here for 200 to 300,000. I think I might need to print this, because I feel like they're going to later on take this off. And then they're going to act like they're going to act like it didn't happen. What? In Ethiopia, what did I tell you? I'm telling you, these people been lying. Ethiopia is where the temple should be built. I'm telling you. Because it literally, the only oldest Homo sapien skulls are from Herdo, Ethiopia. Like, they trying to lie. I feel like even the route that they took, because even in Jubilees, like when you go read this, when they start moving around, the land is landlocked. It is not what they saying. Like, that Israel thing they talking about, that ain't it. That is not it. I'm telling you, it's Ethiopia. Because ain't no way. Ethiopia keep being shown here every time. Migration around 50,000 to 70,000 years ago, some human populations began moving out of Africa, with light skin evolving later in other regions. So-called Jesus disappeared from ages 12 to 30. Jesus went back to Ethiopia. Yeah, because it also talks about him going to mystery schools and everything else. Y'all, listen. So the Book of Jubilees is right here. I literally gave y'all the PDF. If you ain't read it, read it for yourself. Plus the earth, land masses were different. Yeah, connected. Because that's the way I feel. I think they lied. And then you got to remember, volcanoes and things of that nature may have been erupting, and that might have shifted, you know, the plates and this, that, and the third, or the earth. But literally, I feel like it was all together and they lied. That's what I think. I feel like everything that they have said has been nothing but a lie. And I want God to expose them in such a way that it just, you know, this is the reason why I keep saying black people, everybody needs to learn that we should stop arguing amongst each other. Because once I think they realize how big as a nation we truly are, them people stop being the way that they are too. But right now they be pigeonholing us because they be doing the most ungodliest things, but we don't have that in us. We be trying to negotiate and treaties with your ass, but at some point in time, I feel like we gonna have to stop treatying and start putting hands and feet. Cause ain't no negotiating with these niggas. They don't want to negotiate. They want to lie, cheat, and steal. And so that's crazy. But yeah, Google said them niggas just got here 7,000 years ago. So anybody else, just Google it the same exact way I just did. When did white people show up? Don't even try to sugarcoat it. It literally just said that. So I don't know what to tell y'all, but Google, that's the one thing I like about Google. For the most part, Google said they not lying. Google trying to keep their integrity. Bing be lying. AI definitely be lying. And you gotta move in between both things. All right, so back over here. Let's see where we at. Let's go back to the Book of Jubilees. So, who sheddeth man's blood, by man shall be bloodshed. Mind you, the dates, y'all now see that the dates are not right. So even now, this ain't a new moon. So whatever's being celebrated right now, I can almost bet it ain't right. Because it's not during a new moon. So do with that information what y'all will, but I would think that we might need to be saving whatever it is that we need to be saving for the new moon, because every time something happens in here, it's during a new moon. All right, so let's see, and the new moon for this month is the 17th. All right, so let me go make sure, because I don't want to lie to y'all again. Like they done lied enough, so I don't want to be the one to lie to you. Okay. Sometimes we won't correctly know until Yeshua comes. Listen. Okay. I'm gonna say everybody has to know that on their own, whatever. Cause I'm gonna say I ain't gonna know till God come back. So you know, when God come and tell me, that's when I'm gonna know. Not no intermediaries, not no prophets, I'm gonna know when God come. And that's what I'm going to say. Because I'm going to stand on the fact that God was God before anybody came back. And I ain't going to let nobody deceive me. Not the son of, not the prophet of, not the nothing. And God know that about me. So I'm going to know it when God come. And that's it. That's all. Now, new moon. For April, new moon for April 2026 is new moon on April. The quarter moon is on April 10th. The new moon, because we don't care about nothing else, so I don't know why they told me that. New moon is on April 17th. Do with that information what you will. So if it's a celebration that needs to be had, I'm sure it's that day. And what day is that on, matter of fact? Because, let's see. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. It's on a Friday. I don't know. It's on a Friday, just so y'all know. New moon. Anyway, so go over here. Then it says about that blood eating thing, hell to the gnaw. But also it's giving me, so should the children of Israel I don't know. I ain't going to add no sauce on it. I'm going to just leave it as it is. For it is the feast of weeks and the feast of first fruits. This feast is twofold and of double nature, according to what is written and engraven concerning it. It says celebrate it. So, for I have written in the book of the first law, in which I have written for thee, that thou shalt celebrate it in its season, one day in the year. And I explained to thee its sacrifices to the children of Israel should remember, and should celebrate it throughout their generations in this month, one day in every year. So, one day every year, it should be a celebration, the Feast of Weeks. And on the new moon of the first month, which would be April, right? And the new moon of the first month, and on the new moon of the fourth month, so April, May, June, July, which is July, again, going into the same month of when I said the other one, and the new moon of the first month, and on the new moon of the fourth month, and on the new moon of the seventh month, and on the new moon of the 10th month are the days of remembrance. Excuse me. And on the days of the seasons in the 4 divisions of the year, these are written and ordained as testimony forever. Ever. Don't play with it. Ever. So, new moon, April, new moon, April, May, June, July, new moon, what's the 7th month? Hold on, let me make sure. New moon of the first month, new moon of the 4th month, and on the new moon of the 7th month, and on the new moon of the 10th month. These are written and ordained as testimony forever. They don't care what you're talking about. And Noah ordained them for himself as feasts for the generations forever, so that they have become thereby a memorial unto him. And on the new moon of the first month, he was bidden to make for himself an ark. And on that day, the earth became dry, and opened the ark, and he saw the earth. 13 months, 13 apostles. And on the new moon, on the 7th month, all the mouths of the abyss of the earth and were opened, and the waters began to descend unto them. And on the new moon of the 10th month, that's October, on the new moon of the 10th month, no, because then the days are wrong. We got to remember that even the days, the months are not even the actual months that they have. See, this is where the problem begins at. Because what was the first month called then, back then? I mean, we can do it as far as what they use now, but even it being 13 months, what would the 13th month be called? Because I seen it in one of the, there's a book, a lady has a book from such and such a day. They went back to, they try to say that the beginning of the month, it was March. That's what they try to say. But then the 13th month, they try to use as March again. That can't be. It would have another name. So this is where the whole entire issue comes in at. It should have been, and I can't say, but maybe there is something. It should have been, maybe it might be translated in Hebrew or something. It might have the actual month name. But this is the thing. We don't even have the month names at all, period. The thing that we can go by is when you start to know when everything is, blooming and this, that, and the third. But the messed up part is I'm in Georgia. In the middle of when it's supposed to be December, I got shit blooming outside, which don't make no sense because if I went through and I was doing it through the seasons, but this also says that the seasons are going to be messed up. But we would know when certain things start to bloom and grow. That's when it's supposed to be springtime. That's when the New Year happens. But mind you, things are growing and blooming out of season. So this is where the problem starts. It says, and on the new moon of the 10th month, and tops of the mountains were seen, and Noah was glad. And on this account, he ordained for them himself feast for a memorial forever. And thus they are ordained. So on this account, he ordained them for himself as feasts for memorial forever, and thus they are ordained. The meaning they gotta happen. And they placed them on the heavenly tablets, and each had 13 weeks. From one to the other passes their memorial, from the first to the second, and from the second to the third, and from the third to the fourth. And all the days of the commandments will be 52 weeks of days, and these will make the entire year complete. Thus it is engraven and ordained on the heavenly tablets. And there is no neglecting this commandment for a single year or from year to year. Like, it gotta get done. Mind you, ain't nobody been doing it because the time is off. It says, and there is no neglecting this commandment for every single year or from year to year. And command thou the children of Israel that they observe the years according to the reckoning, 364 days, and these will constitute a complete year. And they will not disturb its time from its days and from its feasts, for everything will fall out in them according to their testimony, and they will not leave out any day nor disturb any feast. But if they do neglect and do not observe them according to his commandment, then they will disturb all their seasons, and their years will be dislodged from this order. And they are dislodged from this order, because I've seen some people saying they are, children of Israelites and, Jews and this, that, and the third. Meanwhile, these niggas is all doing all the wrong stuff. Like, ain't nobody told you to do that, because that wasn't there. Because why y'all putting blood on doors and whatnot? And why y'all eating stuff that ain't in what it was? I don't know, because one of these people I seen, they popped up across my screen. And again, I ain't judging, but these are the people who keep going in front of the authorities. They keep going in front of Congress and this, that, and the third, claiming to be such and such. But meanwhile, y'all out of covenant. And then y'all start trying to speak for people, and y'all not doing it right. And I ain't like it, so I just put, I'm not interested. But meanwhile, these people is talking about they trying to do this, that, or the third, but they not doing it the right way. Or the way that it's saying that it's supposed to be done. Because, I don't know, because then I told you I seen something that, I don't know, I ain't going to talk about it. But if they do neglect it then and do not observe them accordingly to his commandments, then they will disturb all their seasons, and all the years will be dislodged from this order. And they will disturb the seasons, and the years will be dislodged. And they will neglect their ordinances. And all the children of Israel will forget and will not find the path of years, and will forget the new moons and seasons and Sabbaths, and they will go wrong as all the order of the years. And for I know, and from here henceforth will I declare it unto thee, and it is not of my own devising, for the book lies. For I know, and from henceforth will I declare it unto thee, and it is not of my own devising, for the book lies. Written before me and on the heavenly tablets, the division of days is ordained, lest they forget the feast of the covenant and walk according to the feast of the Gentiles, after their error and after their ignorance. For there will be those who will assuredly make observations of the moon, how it disturbs the seasons and comes in from year to year 10 days too soon. Mind you, they wrote this and then the nigga changed it 10 days. This was written before the nigga changed it 10 days. That is crazy. For this reason, the years will come upon them when they will disturb the order and make an abominable day, the day of testimony, and an unclean day, a feast day. They will confound all the days, the holy with the unclean, and the unclean days with the holy, for they will go wrong as to the months and Sabbaths and feasts and jubilees. For this reason I command and testify to thee, that thou mayest testify to them, for after thy death thy children will disturb them, so that they will not make the year 364 days only, and for this reason they will go wrong as to new moons and seasons and Sabbaths and festivals, and they will eat all kinds of blood with all kinds of flesh. So then it has a little thing at the bottom. It says, Noah plants a vineyard and offers a sacrifice 1 through 5, becomes drunk and exposes his person 6 to 9, the cursing of Canaan and the blessing of Shem and Japheth 10 to 12, CF generation 11 IX 20 and 20 and do 8. Noah's sons and grandsons and their cities. Noah teaches his sons regarding the causes of deluge, and admonishes them to avoid the eating of blood and murder, to keep the law regarding all y'all niggas out here that like that steak and shit. All y'all is definitely violation. Cause y'all be out here talking about, oh no, it's overcooked, or I don't even know if you should be eating the meat, period. So maybe that might have even been the whole entire catalog. But the fact of the matter is, y'all niggas be out here talking about, oh, I need it medium well and fucking raw mooing on the plate. Y'all niggas is wrong, dead wrong. Cause this is why I always like my meat black and burnt. Yo, because it just reminded me, I just seen some people yesterday talk about they was making some steak and then they squeeze it and it's blood falling up. Y'all is all the way wrong. Period. If you eat your meat like that, violation. Flag on the play. And again, it could just be all meat, period. Because right now, I don't even know. I'm confused. Because, man. Blood and murder. So it says, sons regarding the causes of deluge, and admonishes them to avoid the eating of blood and murder, to keep the law regarding fruit trees, and let the land lie fallow every 7th year, as Enoch has directed. You're not supposed to touch it. So everything is supposed to rest every 7 years. Mind you, they ain't been doing that. They just been out here just doing whatever. And in the 7th week, in the first year, 1317 a.m. thereof, in this Jubilee, Noah planted vines in the mountains on which the ark had rested, named Labar, one of the Ararat mountains, and they produced fruit in the 4th year, 1320 a.m. And he guarded their fruit and gathered it in this year in the 7th month. And he made wine thereof and put it in a vessel and kept it until the 5th year, 1321 a.m. until the first day on the new moon of the first month. Y'all see how the new moon keeps being? It's the new moon every time. So I don't know where they getting all this other stuff, but it keeps saying the same exact thing. Until the first day on the new moon of the first month. And he celebrated with joy the day of this feast, and made it a burnt sacrifice unto the Lord, 1 young ox and 1 ram. And also it says something about not boiling meat. So just so y'all know, that was also in there, that it was supposed to be roasted. So it automatically made me wonder, is that why black people like barbecue so much? See, example, 7th month or any month can be combination of 2. Where you get that from? They got the tribe of Esau lineage. The raw meat. This how you cook it. You squeeze it, and I ain't eating no roast beef. Like none of I can't eat none of that shit. Cause see, that might have been God trying to tell me the whole entire time. Like, you ain't supposed to be eating that. I already knew. Cause ain't no damn way. Like, why are you eating that like that? That is crazy. But, you know, y'all do with y'all food what y'all want. But I'm going to do what I want with mine. And I'm going to need it well done every time. And he celebrated with joy the day of this feast, and he made a burnt sacrifice unto the Lord, 1 young ox and 1 ram, and 7 sheep, each a year old, and a kid of the goats, that he might make atonement thereby for himself and his sons. And he prepared the kid first, and placed some of its blood on the flesh that was on the altar which he had made, and all the fat he laid on the altar where he made the burnt sacrifice, and the ox and the ram and the sheep, and he laid all their flesh upon the altar. And he placed all their offerings mingled with oil upon it. And afterwards he sprinkled wine on the fire, which he had previously made on the altar. And he placed incense on the altar. And it caused a sweet savor to ascend, acceptable before the Lord his God. And he rejoiced and drank of this wine. And he and he and his children with joy. And it was evening, and he went into his tent, and being drunken, he lay down and slept, and was uncovered in his tent as he slept. And Ham saw Noah his father naked. He went forth and told his 2 brethren without. And Shem took his garment and arose, he and Japheth, and they placed the garment on their shoulders and went backward and covered the shame of their father, and their faces were backwards. Mind you, because y'all remember it said in the garden, nakedness is not allowed. So here he go again in his shame. And their faces were backward. And Noah awoke from his sleep and knew all that his younger son had done unto him. And he cursed his son and said, Cursed be Canaan, and enslaved servant shall he be unto his brethren. Why he mad at them? Because he was, sleep with his piece out. And he blessed Shem and said, Blessed be the Lord. Oh, because he was the one that went and told. Let me see. Let me go back. Let me make sure. And his children with joy in the evening, and he went in his tent, and he drunk and lay down and sleep, and uncovered in his tent he slept. And Ham saw Noah his father naked, and went forth and told his 2 brethren without. And Shem took his garment and arose, he and Japheth, and they placed the garments on their shoulders, and he went backward and covered the shame of their father, and their faces were backwards. And Noah awoke from his sleep, and he knew that all his younger sons had done to him. And he cursed his son and said, Cursed be Canaan, and enslaved servant shall he be unto his brethren. And he blessed Shem and said, Blessed be the Lord God Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. God shall enlarge Japheth, and God shall dwell in the dwellings of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. And Ham knew that his father had cursed his younger son, and he was displeased that he had cursed his son. And he parted from his father and his sons with him, Cush and Mazaram, and put in Canaan. And he built for him. Hold on, I'm something that I'm missing. Look up. When God and Adam and Eve, he states, replenish the earth. Let's see. Where did Canaan come in this? Because something happened apparently, but where did Canaan come from? Because I don't see where he was even involved in this. Cursed be Canaan, and enslaved servant shall he be unto his brethren. I don't know, because I must have missed something. And Shem dwelt with his father Noah, and he built a city close to his father on the mountain. And he too called the name after his son Shwedqualeped. It was beings already living on earth. And behold, these 3 cities are near Mount Lubar, Shaquitalabab, because that's what it looked like. Sedaquitalabab. I don't know why that name makes me laugh, but anyway, fronting the mountain on its east, and y'all, Niel Tamuk, okay, on the south, Adontanis towards the west, And there were the sons of Shem, Elam, Asher, and Arpachshad. This son was born 2 years after the flood in Lud and Aram. And the sons of Japheth, Gomer and Magad, and Mandi and Javin and Tubal and Meshith and Tiras. And I know I messed up everybody's name. These are the sons of Noah. All right, so Noah had a lot of sons. All right, so let's see. I still don't know where Canaan came in at, but then we go here. For owning these three things came the flood upon the earth, namely owning to the fornication, wherein the watchers, so now we at the giants, and it says watchers, on owning to the fornication, wherein the watchers against the law of their ordinances went a whoring, is what it says. They went a whoring after the daughters of men and took themselves wives, wives of all which they chose, and they made the beginning of uncleanness. It says, and everyone sold himself to work iniquity and to shed much blood, and the earth was filled with iniquity. So it goes into we're born 2 years after flood, cities. Okay, so it tells you all of that. Then it says that the watchers was around. They was a whoring after the daughters of man. Then they started doing what they was doing. Then it says, and they begat the sons of Naphadim, and they were all unlike, and they devoured one another. And the giant slew the Nephil, and the Nephil slew the Eljos, and the Eljos mankind, and one man another. So it talks about different races that was actually here. Then it says, I mean, not different, well, different, yeah, I guess different people that was there. Then it says 23, and everyone sold himself to work iniquity and to shed much blood, and the earth was filled with iniquity, meaning God was not pleased. So then it goes to 24, and after this, they sinned against the beasts and birds and all that moves and walks on the earth, and much blood was shed on the earth, and every imagination and desire of men imagined vanity and evil continually. So then it goes down to for I see, behold, the demons have begun their seductions. Damn. Okay, so let me go back up, because how we get there real fast. It says, and the Lord destroyed everything from off the face of the earth because of the wickedness of their deeds, and because of the blood which they had shed in the midst of the earth, he destroyed everything. So on 25, even after Noah was there, it says the earth got destroyed again. Okay? So, and everyone sold himself to work iniquity and shed too much blood, and the earth was filled with iniquity. And after this, they sinned against the beasts, the birds, and all that moves and walks along the earth. And much blood was shed on the earth, and every imagination and desire of men imagined vanity and evil continually. And the Lord destroyed everything from off the face of the earth because of the wickedness of their deeds, and because of the blood which had been sinned, which they had shed in the midst of the earth. He destroyed everything. So do with that information what you will. But after Noah had got here, the earth got destroyed again. I ain't say it's right here. So then it says, and we were left, I and you, my sons, and everything that entered with us into the ark, and behold, I see your works before me, that you do. Oh, maybe he might be telling a story. Hold on. Noah began upon his sons the ordinance of, nope. It happened after. Righteousness, and to cover the shame of flesh, for owning these things flood upon the earth, owning the fornication, wherein watchers against the law of the ordinances went a whoring after the daughters. All right, hold on. The sons of Japheth, Gomer, Magog, and this, and the 28th Jubilee, Noah began to enjoin upon his sons the ordinances and commandments and all the judgments that he knew, he exhorted to. Oh, he's telling the story. Okay, so he's telling the story. Forgive me. All right, so he's telling the story, and then he lets them know, and then we go down here. I had to step away, and I'm back. It was more than one. Well, yeah, I found that out later, because when one thing happened, so does something else. So We already know that though. Anyway, so we reading this, like you saying that, but then that's gonna put this into this, and we reading this. So, you know, and they gonna have to go read it themselves, because again, you seen what I just did. He telling the story, I said something else. So read it for yourself. And in the 5th year, make ye the release, so that ye releases it to righteousness and upright, and ye shall be righteous, and all that you plant shall prosper. For this did Enoch, the father of your father, command Methuselah his son, and Methuselah his son Lamech, and Lamech commanded me all the things which his father commanded them. And I also will give you commandment, my son, as Enoch commanded his son in the first Jubilee, whilst living. The 7th in his generation he commanded and testified to his son and to his son's sons until the day of the death. So then we at chapter 8, and it says, in the 29th Jubilee, in the first week, 1373, in the beginning thereof, Arpachshad took to himself a wife, and her name was Rasajah, the daughter of Susan, the daughter of Elam, and she bare him a son in the 3rd year in this week, and he called his name Canaan, Kainam, with an M at the end. And the son grew, and his father taught writing, and he went to seek for himself a place where he might seize for himself a city. So after it goes into all that, and again, I'm jumping so that way y'all can kind of know, like, it's a lot of stuff in here. But it keeps the Jubilees. So it says, and he wrote it down and said nothing regarding it, for he was afraid to speak to Noah about it, lest he shall be angry with him on account of it. And in this 13th Jubilee, 1429, in the 2nd week, in the 1st year thereof, he took himself a wife, and her name is Melka, Melka, the daughter of Mandi, and the son of Japheth. And in the 4th year, 1432 a.m., he begat a son and called him Shelah, for he said, truly I have been sent. And the 4th year he was born, and Shelah grew up and took himself a wife, and her name was Mook. And I think this is where it's talking about not to have children and outside of, the covenant with the people. And she bare him a son in the 5th year, 1503. Thereof is called the name Edber. And he took unto him a wife, and her name was Ashrod, and the daughter of Nebrod, in the 2nd Jubilee. So it's still telling you to do Jubilees, still keeping the lineage, still keeping the line, still keeping the timeline. So this may be how somebody may be able to, kind of reconstruct, because, if I can, like I said, I'm going to print it, and it's not that many pages, so we can see. Anyway, and he called his sons, and they drew nigh to him, they all and their children, and divided the earth into lots, so which was his 3 sons, whereas to take possession, and they reached forth their hands and took the writing out of the bosom of Noah their father, and there came forth in the writing. So it says they took lots, and he drew his sons and drew unto him and their children, and he divided the earth into lots, which has 3 sons were to take in possession, and they reached forth their hands and took the writing out of the bosom of Noah their father, and there came forth on the writing as Shem lot in the middle of the earth. So Shem is in the middle, Shem's people is in the middle, which he should take as an inheritance for himself, for his sons, for the generations of eternity. So Shem's people, eternity. From the middle of the mountain range of Raphi, from the mouth of the water, from the river Tina, and his portion goes towards the west through the midst of this river, and it extends till it reaches the water of the abysses, out of which the river goes forth and pours into the waters. And it says, and sea meat, the sea meat, M-E-A, meat, the sea meat, and this river flows into the great sea, and all that is towards the north in Japheth, and all that is towards the south belongs to Shem. And it extends till it reaches Karsaro. This is the other thing, like even the maps, like how they have different names and new stuff on them, but mind you, it's even giving you the breakdown to all of these things. It says, and it extends until it reaches Kasaro. This is the bosom of the tongue which it looks towards the south. And his portion extends along the great sea, and it extends in the straight line till it reaches the west. Okay, hold on. Let me grab something. My nose is rather snotty. Well, let's grab some tissue. Period. All right, so it gives you the separation where everybody was. And it says, this portion extends to the Great Sea. It extends in a straight line till it reaches the west of the tongue of which looks towards the south. For this sea is named the tongue of the Egyptian Sea. And Egypt still keeps being pointed, in the right way. So then it says, and it turns from here towards the south, towards the mouth of the Great Sea on the shore and its waters, and it extends to west to Afra, and it extends till it reaches the waters of the river of Gihon, Gihon, and to the south of the waters of Gihon, to the banks of its rivers, and extends towards the east till it reaches the Garden of Eden. So if anybody had paid attention, or anybody actually knew where each place was, it gave you a map directly to the Garden of Eden. Till it reaches the Garden of Eden to the south, and from the east of the whole land of Eden, and the whole east, it turns to the east and proceeds till it reaches the east of the mountains named Rapha, and it descends. I wonder if they just started changing the name of stuff because they didn't want nobody to know where places were, like real places. But mind you, Egypt is the only one that says okay. All right. So it says to the mountain of Rapha, and it descends to the bank of the mouth of the river Tina. So I don't know if y'all know where River Tina is. This portion came forth by Lot for Shem and his sons, that they should possess it forever unto his generations, or forevermore. Mind you, these lands were already designated and given to people. Honorary Celestine, hi. She said that's what they did. That's what it seemed like they did. So, and Noah rejoiced that this portion came forth for Shem and for his sons, and he remembered all that he had spoken, with his mouth in prophecy. For he has said, blessed be the Lord, God of Shem, and may the Lord dwell in the dwellings of Shem. And he knew that the Garden of Eden is the Holy of Holies, and the dwelling of the Lord, and Mount Sinai, the center of the desert, and Mount Zion, the center of the navel of the earth. These were created as holy places facing each other. So, and he blessed the God of gods, who put the word of the Lord into his mouth, and he the Lord forevermore. And he knew that was... Okay. And he knew that a blessed portion and blessing had come from Shem and his sons unto the generations forever. The world, the whole land of Eden, and the whole land of the Red Sea. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, if y'all look at the map, Ethiopia, the way the Red Sea, the way they talk about it, it's over there. I'm telling y'all. They can say what they want, but I swear I think they've been lying. Well, we already know they've been lying, but how you doing, Honorary Celestine, today? So it says, and he knew the blessed portion and the blessing had come to Shem and his sons unto the generations forever, the whole land of Eden, and the whole land of the Red Sea, and the whole land of the east, and India, and the Red Sea, and the mountains thereof, and all the land of Bashan, and the land of Lebanon, and the islands of Kophter, and all the mountains of Shinar and Amana, and the mountains of Asher in the north, and all the land of Elam, Asher and Babel, and Susan and Medea, and all the mountains of Ariat, and all the regions beyond the sea, which is beyond the mountains of Asher towards the north, and blessings and spacious land, and all that is very good. So they parted the land in all four pieces. So if all the land was the same, right, all the same land mass, that means that Shem's people have some, this people have, all the people that are of his that means everybody's still related. But mind you, if they broke it up in four pieces and everything was one landmass from Asia or Asia Minor or over here or anywhere else, that means that it was given to those people. Anyway, and for Ham, come forth the second portion beyond the Gideon towards the south, and to the right of the garden, and it extends towards the south and extends to all the mountains of the. This would also be the other reason why they wouldn't want nobody knowing this, because this would also mean that they know they stole. Because if it's telling you who belongs to where land and where, and you know who's supposed to gain, that means that they should never be able to put their hands or anything else on nobody's property. So this would be why they would take this out as well. And it says, and it goes forth towards the north to the limits of Gadir, and it goes forth to the coast of the waters of the sea, to the waters of the great sea, till it draws near the river Gihon, and goes along the river Gihon till it reaches the right of the Garden of Eden. And so that would also mean that the garden would be in the center? Is that what they trying to say? Is that like that land mass that I showed y'all the other day that was in the center? That rock that they said is there, that all of a sudden became missing off of the map? Because it looked like, we'll see what the other two look like, but it looked like it said, and it goes towards the right of the Garden of Eden. And this is the land which came forth for Ham and his portion, which is he was to occupy for himself and his sons unto their generation forever. And for Japheth came forth the third portion beyond the river Tina, in the north of the outflow of its waters, and it extended north easterly to the whole region of Gog, and to all the countries thereof. And it extends northernly to the north, and it extends to the mountains of Quelt towards the north, and towards the sea of Muak, and it goes forth to the east of Gedar, as far as the region of the waters of the sea, and it extends until it approaches the west of Farah, and it returns towards Aphurg, and it extends easterly. Is any of these names still on the map? Does anybody know? And it extends easterly to the waters of the sea of Miat, and it extends to the regions of the river of Tina, and in northeasterly direction until it approaches the boundary of its waters towards the mountain Rapha, and it turns around towards the north. This is the land which came forth for Japheth and his sons as the portion of his inheritance, which he shall possess for himself and his sons for their generations forever, 5 great islands and great land in the north. But it could be, why are you having conversations with me about stuff that I'm not even reading? That's what I'm trying to figure out. That's what I like to know. But it's cold, and the land of Ham is hot, and the land of Shem is neither hot nor cold, but it is blended cold and heat. So it says subdivision of 3 portions amongst the grandchildren of Noah, amongst Ham's children, Shem's children, Japheth's children, oath taken by Noah's sons, 14 and 15. And Ham divided amongst his sons the first portion, called the fourth the Cush, towards the east, and Ham divided amongst his sons, and the first portion came for Cush towards the east, and to the west of him Mizraim, and to the west of him for Put, and to the west of him, and to the west thereof on the sea for Canaan. And Shem also divided amongst his sons the first portion from forth Ham and his sons. So this would also be lineage, inheritance, land. And then as we talk about the Game of Thrones and people, you know, taking and moving and stealing, because once they start moving their pieces, now they start taking land. But mind you, God granted this land to these people forever. Excuse me. Not for, you know, when you come along with your certification, your talking papers, and start handing stuff to people. It says in the first portion of Gomer to the east from the north side, I skipped a couple places, but literally it's going over the land masses. It's going over the land masses. Anyway, so jump to chapter 10, and it says, in the third week of the Jubilee, the unclean demons began to lead astray the children and the sons of Noah, and to err to destroy them. Thank you, Majestic Grace. You must have been picking up you know. Thank you. Because every time I got the look, because I see it popping up, it ain't nothing but a distraction. And I'll be trying. I feel like sometimes this is part of my test. Because in the process, I have to just learn to continue to keep reading and ignore. Because, you know, people keep wanting to insert themselves. Meanwhile, all they got to do is push the button and do what I'm doing. Because I ain't get nothing. I'm over here mismatched in a pink and green and night clothes and everything. I got up and I was being obedient to what was actually here. So everybody can do it. Like, you ain't even got to be cute or anything else. You could just push the button and teach the people. You ain't even got to come over here with all of that. But Majestic Grace, thank you for filling my energy. And in the third week of this Jubilee period, thank you. And in the third week of the Jubilee, the unclean demons began to lead astray the children of the sons of Noah, and to make error and to destroy them. And the sons of Noah came to Noah, their father, and told him concerning the demons which were leading astray and blinding and slaying his sons. And he prayed before the Lord his God and said, God of the spirits of all flesh, who has shown mercy unto me, and has saved me and my sons from the waters of the flood, and has not caused me to perish, as thou didst the sons of perdition. For thy grace has been great towards me, and great has been thy mercy to my soul. Let thy grace be lifted up upon my sons, and let not wicked spirits rule over them, lest they should destroy them from the earth. Amen. I like that prayer. But do thou bless me and my sons, that we may increase and multiply and replenish the earth. And thou have known thy watchers, the fathers of these spirits, acted in my day. And as these spirits which are living imprisoned them, and held them fast in a place of condemnation, and let them not bring destruction on sons of thy servant, my God, for these are malignant and created in order to destroy. Mind you, do y'all not keep hearing me saying y'all biggest ops are some angels? Which is crazy. They was allowed to walk around in God's presence, but your biggest op who's trying to lead astray was an angel. And let them not rule over the spirit of the living, for thou alone canst exercise dominion, basically, over them. And let them not have power over the sons of the righteous from henceforth and forevermore. Amen. Please and thank you. In 2026, I like that prayer. And the Lord our God bade us to bind all. Bind it in the name, all right, of God. And the chief of the spirits, Matsema, came and said, Lord Creator, let some of them remain before me, and let them hearken to my voice, and do all that I shall say unto them. For if some of them are not left to me, I shall not be able to execute the power of my will on the sons of man, for these are for corruption and leading astray before my judgment, before great is the wickedness of sons of man. So Matsema, Mastema, 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 is a demon. The chief of the spirits, remember it, went to God and said, can you please let me befuddle some of them? Because I need to, because they wicked anyway. And I just need to show you that they wicked. I don't mean to laugh, but... I don't mean to laugh, but I mean to laugh. Because he be knowing. Anyway, and he said, let the 10th part of them remain before him, and let 9 parts descend into the place of condemnation. And one of us he commanded that we should teach Noah all their medicines, for he knew that they would not walk in uprightness nor strive in righteousness. I'm trying to tell you. Uh-oh. TikTok said you trying it again. I'm just reading from here, okay? I ain't said nothing. So it says, and he said, let the 10th part of them remain before him, and let 9 parts descend into the place of condemnation. And one of us he commanded that we should teach Noah all their medicines, for he knew that they would not walk in uprightness nor strive in righteousness. And we did according to all his words. All the malignant evil ones we bound in the place of condemnation, and a 10th part of them we left, that they may be subject before Satan on earth. And we explained to Noah all the medicines of their diseases, together with their seductions, how he might heal them with herbs of the earth. And Noah wrote down, this is on page 25, and I'm at 12. And he explained to Noah all the medicines of their diseases, together with their seductions, how he might heal them with the herbs of the earth. 13. And Noah wrote down all the things in a book, as we instructed him, concerning every kind of medicine. Thus the evil spirits were precluded from hurting the sons of Noah. 14 says, and he gave all that he had written to Shem, his eldest son, for he loved him exceedingly above all his sons. 15, and Noah slept with his fathers, and was burned on Mount Lebar in the land of Ariat. So that means Noah died, right? 950 years he completed in his life, 19 jubilees, and 2 weeks and 5 years. So by the time 950 years he completed in his life, 19 jubilees. Oh, shoot. It says 15, 950 years he completed in his life, 19 jubilees. 50 times 19 equals 950. All right, so by the time Noah had died, it says at this point it was 16:59 a.m. At this point in time. So I don't know if somebody can calculate from this time to that time, or what time they ended up messing up, but literally that was exactly right. So 950 years he completed in his life, 19 jubilees, and 2 weeks and 5 years. And in his life on earth, he excelled the children of men to save Enoch, because because of the righteousness wherein he was perfect. For Enoch's office was ordained for a testimony to the generations of the world, so that he should recount all the deeds of generations unto generation, till the day of judgment. I want to know what happened to the book. Like Shem, who and Shem, that means somebody in the line of Shem got passed down, or should have gotten passed down, a book of herbs that is supposed to be able to heal anything that they do on earth. Now, who got that, and what is that called? Because shouldn't that have been found, or shouldn't that be somewhere around here? I think it should be. So we might need to be looking that up. because that sounds important. Then it says, and in the 3 and 13 Jubilee, exactly. In the 3 and 13 Jubilee, in the first year, in the second week, Peleg took to himself a wife whose name was Lomna, the daughter of Sinai, and he buried him a son into the... Y'all, I know I'll be butchering these names, but charge it to my head, not my heart. Okay? He called his name Reu, for he said, behold, the children of men have become evil through the wicked purpose of building for themselves a city and a tower in the land of Shinar. And they departed from the land area eastward towards Shinar, and for this days they built the city and the tower, saying, go to, let us ascend thereby into heaven. So I guess that's when the Tower of Babel came about. And then that's when the differences became in the languages. And Canaan saw the land of Lebanon to the river of Egypt. That it was very good. Okay, so then it goes into Ham and his sons went into the land which he was to occupy, which he acquired as his portion in the land of the south. And Canaan saw the land of Lebanon to the river of Egypt, that it was very good, and he went into the land of his inheritance. So that was his land. So is this a different and Ham and his sons went into the land which he was to occupy. So it has to be a different one, because this one has the same name. And Ham, his father, and Cush, the Mizraim, and his brothers said unto him, thou hast settled in a land which is not thine, and which did not fall to us by lot. Do not do so, for if thou doest so, thou and my sons will fall in the land, be accursed through sedition, for by sedition ye have settled, and by sedition will thy children fall, and thou... All right, so this one they started moving into places that they should not be moving into. Mind you, they done already been given. People be greedy, because y'all done already been given the land broken into 4 pieces. Y'all people already have where y'all supposed to be. So each one of y'all should already have y'all stuff. Now y'all starting to move into somebody else's stuff. And now they're creating havoc. But he did not hearken unto him, and dwell in the land of Lebanon, for Hamath to the entering of Egypt, he and his sons until this day. And for this reason, that land is named Canaan. And Japheth and his sons went towards the sea and dwelt in the land of their portion. And Madai, Madai, saw the land of the sea, and it did not please him, and he begged a portion from Ham and Asher and his wife's brother, and he dwelt in the land of Media near his wife's brother until that day. And he called the dwelling place... See, the people don't be satisfied. They don't be happy, because that's where it looked like that went. So then it goes, and then the 35th Jubilee, and the week in the first year, 16:18 a.m. thereof, Reu took himself a wife, and her name was Or, the daughter of... So we're going to go through that. And like I said, y'all, I put the PDFs up so y'all can go through it. I just want to actually get to where... Let me see if I can go towards the end, because this is what I want to know. Because I'm going to end up taking this off and, like I said, reading it again for myself. But I want to know what ended up happening. Come on, let's go. Come on. Now it's not moving. All right, so let me go. I'm going to jump to the last place. So it says chapter 50. And after this law, okay, so now I got to go back up, because apparently there's more laws that got made. So the 50 is page... All right, so we at 101, chapter 49. Remember the commandment which the Lord commanded thee concerning the Passover, which we're here right now, is what they saying. That thou should celebrate it in the season on the 14th of the first month. So the first month is April. From what it would be considered, because again, that could be off too. Remember the commandment which Lord commanded thee concerning the Passover, that thou should have celebrated its season on the 14th of the first month, that thou shouldn't kill it before its evening, and that thou should eat it by night on the evening of the 15th from the time of the settlement of the sun. For on this night, the beginning of the festival and the beginning of the joy. Oh man, hold on. Let me go over here because I think this is exactly because it's supposed to be the food's supposed to be sacrificed. The sacrifice day is supposed to be 3 days, or let's see, let me make sure beforehand. This is the reason why they can't perform it in the temples even right now, because they don't have no temples to do it in. So if now is the Passover, April 17th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, it will be exactly right. So let's see. Remember the commandment which the Lord commanded thee concerning the Passover, that thou shouldest celebrate it in its season on the 14th of the first month, that thou shouldest kill it before its evening, and that they shall eat it by night on the evening of the 15th from the time of the setting of the sun. For on this night, the beginning of the festival and the beginning of joy, ye were eating the Passover in Egypt, when all the powers of Mastema had been let loose to slay all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh to the firstborn of the captive maidservant in the meal and the cattle. And this is the sign which the Lord gave them into every house on the lintels of which they saw the blood of the lamb of the first year. Into that house they should not enter to slay, but should pass by it. That all those should be saved and were in the house, because the sign of the blood was on its lintels. And the powers of the Lord did everything according to the Lord commanded them, and they passed by the children of Israel, and the plague came not upon them to destroy from amongst them any soul, either of cattle or man or dog. And the plague was very grievous in Egypt, and that there was no house in Egypt where there was not one dead, and weeping and lamentations. It says, it's on 4. And the powers of the Lord did everything according to the Lord commanded them, and they passed by all the children of Israel, and the plague came not upon them to destroy from amongst them any soul, either of cattle or man or dog. 5 says, and the plague was very grievous in Egypt, and there was no house in Egypt where there was not one dead, and weeping and lamentations. Then it says 6, and all Israel was eating the flesh of the Paschal lamb, and drinking the wine, and was loading and blessing and giving thanks to the Lord God of fathers, and was ready to go forth from under the yoke of Egypt and from the evil bondage. 7, and remember thou this day all the days of thy life, and observe it from year to year, all the days of life, once a year on this day, according to all the law thereof, and do not adjourn from it day to day, from month to month. It says, number 8, for it is eternal. For it is an eternal ordinance engraving on heavenly tablets regarding all the children of Israel, that they should observe it every year on its day, once a year throughout all their generations, and there is no limit of days, for this is ordained forever. 9 says, and the man who is free from uncleanness and does not come to observe it on occasion of its day, so as to bring an acceptable offering before the Lord, and to eat and to drink before the Lord on the day of its festival, that man who is clean and clothes at hand shall be cut off, because he offered not the oblation of the Lord in its appointed season. So he shall take the guilt upon himself. Okay, so back to 9. 9 says, and the man who is free from uncleanness and does not come to observe it on occasion of this day, so as to bring an acceptable offering before the Lord, and to eat and to drink before the Lord on this day of the festival, that man who is clean and clothes at hand shall be cut off, because he offered not the oblation of the Lord in its appointed season. He shall take the guilt upon himself. Do with that information which y'all will. 10, it says, let the children of Israel come and observe the Passover on the day of its fixed time, on the 14th day of the first month, between the evening from the third part of the day to the third part of the night. For 2 portions of the day are given to the light, and the third portion to the evening. This is which the Lord commandeth thee, and that thou should observe it in between the evenings. And it is not permissible to slay it during any period of the light, during the period bordering an evening on evening, and let them eat it at the time of the evening until the third part of the night. And whatsoever is left over of all its flesh from the third part of the night and onward, let them burn it with fire. And they shall not cook it in water, which when I said about bull and stuff, they shall not cook it in water, nor shall they eat it raw, but roast it on the fire. They shall eat it with diligence, its head with inwards thereof, and its feet they shall roast with fire. So does that mean it has to be a whole thing? It says, and shall not cook it with water, nor shall they eat it raw, but roast it on the fire. They shall eat it with diligence, its head with the inwards thereof, and its feet they shall roast with fire, and not break any bone thereof, for of the children of Israel no bone shall be crushed. For this reason the Lord commanded the children of Israel to observe the Passover on the day of its fixed time, and they shall not break a bone thereof, for if it's a festival day, and a day commanded, that there may be no passing over from day to day and month to month, but on the day of its festival let it be observed. And do thou command the children of Israel to observe the Passover throughout their days, every year, once a year, on the day of its fixed time, and it shall come for a memorial well passing or well pleasing before the Lord, and no plague shall come upon them to slay or to smite in that year in which they celebrate the Passover, in its season, in every respect according to his commandment. But mind you, up here it says that it's the 14th, is what it says up there. So let me go back to make sure, because literally that's what it says. Fixed time, Israel observed Passover on the fixed time on the 14th day of the first month. It's the 14th day of April, which would be the first month, right? So do with that information which y'all will. I don't know. And then it says, and they shall not eat outside the sanctuary of the Lord. So, and do the command, 15, and do thou command the children of Israel to observe the Passover throughout their days every year, once a year on the days of its fixed time, and it shall come for a memorial well pleasing before the Lord, and no plague shall come upon them to slay or smite in that year in which they celebrate the Passover, in its season, in every respect according to his commandment. So it's the 14th day. But today is, they've been doing it now. Ain't that what they've been saying? I don't know. And then it says on 17, and every man who has come upon this day shall eat it in the sanctuary of your God before the Lord from 20 years old and upward. For thus it is written and ordained that they should eat in the sanctuary of the Lord. There is no sanctuary. So how is everybody not realizing that this is also a part of the reason why they're out of covenant? But again, if you're going to God, to me, I feel like sanctuary is, God within. Talk to God about it, because I don't know. But then it says in 18, and when the children of Israel come into the land which they are to possess, into the land of Canaan, and set up the tabernacle of the Lord in the midst of the land in one of their tribes, until the sanctuary of the Lord has been built in the land, let them come and celebrate the Passover in the midst of the tabernacle of the Lord, and let them slay it before the Lord from year to year. And in the days when the house has been built in the name of the Lord in the land of their inheritance, they shall go there and slay the Passover in the evening at sunset, at the third part of the day. That's the part that I was talking about. And is, especially if God don't dwell in the temple made with hands. Well, and hello, it says, because this is the part that I seen, because I seen the people was trying to go take the lambs and slaughter them in the temples, and the people said that they don't do that there. So somehow, like I said, people, they beefing, but meanwhile not really reading the actual word. Is right there. So I don't know. So 20 says, and it shall 20 says, and they shall offer its blood on the threshold of the altar, and shall place its fat on the fire which is upon the altar, and they shall eat its flesh roasted with fire in the court of the house which has been sanctified in the name of the Lord. 21. And they may not celebrate the Passover in their cities, nor in any place save before the tabernacle of the Lord, or before his house, where his name hath dwelt, and they shall not go astray from the Lord. And why is that giving me the feeling like your house? Like your house, your house. Because if you don't have a temple, then it would be your house. But your house could be your body, your house could be your physical house, your house could be the time, your celestial sign. 22, and do thou, Moses, command the children of Israel to observe the ordinances of the Passover, as it was commanded unto thee, declare thou unto them every year, and the day of its days, and the festival of unleavened bread, and that they shall eat the unleavened bread 7 days, and that they shall observe its festival, and they begin bringing oblation every day during those 7 days of joy before the Lord on the altar of your God. It says, and for ye celebrate this festival with haste when ye went forth from Egypt, till ye entered into the wilderness of Shur, for on the shore of the sea yet completed it. And after this law I made known to thee the days of the Sabbath in the desert of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai. And I told thee of the Sabbaths of the land of Mount Sinai, and I told thee of the Jubilees years and the Sabbath of the years, but the year thereof have I not told thee, till ye enter the land which ye are to possess. And the land also kept its Sabbaths while they dwell upon it, and they shall know the Jubilee year, which the Ethiopia, if it's 2018, then it should be a Jubilee year next year, which is the 2019 for them. So it would be 2027 for us. But mind you, and I told thee of the Sabbath of the land on Mount Sinai, and I told thee of the Jubilee years and the Sabbath of the years, but year thereof have I not told thee, till ye enter the land which ye are to possess. And the land also kept its Sabbaths while they dwell upon it, and they shall know the Jubilee year. Wherefore I have ordained for thee the year, weeks, and the years, and the Jubilees. There are 49 Jubilees from the days of Adam until the day of 24:10 a.m. And on 1 week and 2 years, and there are ye 40 years to come, lit distant, for learning 2,450 a.m. commandments of the Lord, until they pass over into the land of Canaan, crossing the Jordan to the west. And then they corrupted the maps and everything else. And so here we are. And the Jubilee shall pass by until Israel is cleansed from all guilt of fornication. Man, deeds high. Welcome. Thank you for being here. And just like that, you won't be. Anyway, so then it says, and all the Jubilees pass until Israel is cleansed from all guilt of fornication and uncleanness and pollution and sin and error, and dwells with confidence in all the land. And there shall be no more Satan or evil one, and the land shall be clean from that time forevermore. But mind you, it says, and dwells with confidence in all the land. So no matter where you are. Mind you, it seemed like the children of Israel been the wanderers. You look so handsome. How you doing? They look like they've been all the wanderers. Huh? Huh? Okay, I love you. You look so grown. Yeah. So it says in all the land, just so y'all know. And behold the commandment regarding the Sabbaths, I have written them down for thee, and all the judgments of his laws. 6 days shalt thou labor, but on the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord your God. In it ye shall do no manner of work, ye and your sons, and your men servants, and your maid servants, and all your cattle, and all your sojourner also who is with you. And a man that does any work on it shall die. Whoever desecrates that day, whoever lies with his wife, man, whoever lies with his wife, and whosoever says he will do something on it, that he will set out on a journey therein in regard to any buying or selling, and whoever draws water whereon which he had not prepared for himself on the 6th day, and whoever takes up any burden to carry it out of his tent or out of his house shall die. You shall do no work whatsoever on the Sabbath day, save what ye have prepared for yourselves on the 6th day, so that you can eat and drink and unrest on the Sabbath from all work on that day, and bless the Lord your God, who has given you a day of festival and a holy day and a day of holy kingdom. For all Israel is the day amongst their days for forever. For great is the honor which the Lord has given to Israel, that they shall eat and drink and be satisfied on this festival day, and rest thereon from all labor which belongs to the labor of the children of men, save burning frankincense and burning oblations and sacrifice before the Lord for the days and for Sabbaths. This work alone, and then it just make me wonder, like, when they started taking slaves and this, that, and the third, they made them niggas work all day, every day, changed the dates on them, just kept them all doing all manners of all types of things. Anyway, but be mindful that it said that the day was the 14th. So if they had kept telling people that the first day of the year is January, that means it would have been off anyway. They would have been telling people that during January, they would have been thinking they would have been celebrating it January the 14th instead of during the springtime on the 14th. So everything would have been all over the place regardless. That's crazy. Then it says on 11, so this work alone shall be done on the Sabbath days in the sanctuary of the Lord your God, that they may atone for Israel with sacrifice continually from day to day for a memorial well-pleasing before the Lord, and that he may receive them always from day to day according to thou that has been commanded. And then it says 12, and every man who does any work thereon, or goes a journey, or tills his farm, whether in his house or any other place, and whoever lights a fire or rides on any beast, or travels by ship on the sea, and whoever strikes or kills anything, or slaughters a beast or a bird, or whoever catches an animal or a bird or a fish, or whoever fasts or makes war on the Sabbaths. So 13 says, the man who does any of those things on the Sabbath shall die. So that the children of Israel shall observe the Sabbaths according to the commandments regarding the Sabbaths of the land, as it is written in the tablets which he gave into my hands, that I shall write out for thee the laws of the seasons, and the seasons according to the divination of their days. Herewith the completed the account of the division of the days. So the division of their days herewith, and complete the account of divisions of the days. So that was the last part. Any man who does anything on the Sabbath shall die, so that the children of Israel shall observe the Sabbath according to the commandments regarding the Sabbaths of the land, as it is written in the tablets which he gave into my hands, that I shall write out for thee the laws of the seasons, because the seasons was important, and the seasons according to the division of their days. Herewith is completed the account of the division of the days. And so I gave it to y'all. Y'all can go look at it. But like I said, be mindful that for everything, that the way something is translated over, I did jump through some things. So, but the way anybody translated could also be a thing, because this is written, I don't know what Ethiopia. Good morning. That is the Book of Jubilees, and so whoever translated it, who put it here, could have written or not written some things in it. Let's be mindful of that. Until we have a full book of, the Ethiopian Bible or whatever, be mindful that whoever's talking is putting it in their tone or whatever, and everybody does what they want to do the way they want to do it. So I don't celebrate that. Thank you, God on the mind. I'm so proud of you. God bless the God of Israel. I'm gonna have to leave, sister. See you later. That's what I had to tell somebody else, because they sent me that too, and I said I'm not doing it, because I'm gonna figure out what I need to be doing and how I need to be doing it. But I'm not gonna keep letting them lead me down the roads. And so if there's anything else that I'm supposed to be able to see or not see, I'm going to ask God to show it to me and give it to me, and we're gonna go from there. So that's what I'm gonna say. However it's supposed to be done or not done. I guess my face all sweaty, y'all. But either way, that's all I got. So hopefully that helped. Thank y'all for being here. Hopefully I gave y'all what y'all needed to get, and I ain't no scholar at this. I just came to give y'all what was given. Okay, so if you got any advice or anything else, you can put it in the comments. But yeah, that's all I got. Love y'all. See y'all tomorrow. Earth School is 8:15, Monday through Friday. Period. Majestic Grace, see you later, and thank you.